will not be coming up until after lunch.
Well, Your Honor.
Ms. Westmoreland, as to the items that were seized, of course, that's the person that seized them would be part of the foundation. We don't know necessarily what they are at this point in time, what they purport to be, but the admission of those drugs, I guess, until we get a GBI or somebody else that testifies to that, then of course that would. Well, that's another issue. But
it is, Your Honor, and I do have an issue for one of the first witnesses that they're going to call before lunch, so I want to hurry and get to that. But, Your Honor, in reference to the drugs, the reason why I'm bringing that up now is because that has already went to the GBI. So we know that what the officers thought was MDMA was not. So we know that. That's confusing. That's misleading to the jury. We know that. We also know that the pills were not tested. We know that. So we know that this officer and no one else in court today could or should be telling the jury that it's ecstasy pill. We already know that. We know that they shouldn't be able to say that because it wasn't tested. So what I'm asking, Your Honor, is for you to restrict this officer from testifying, I seized ecstasy. I seized MDMA. I seized Xanax. That officer should not be able to testify to that because we already know that it's not true.
Your Honor, he can testify to what he thought it to be. Now, yes, the GBI later tested it, but when he stopped them, that's what it was. What they thought it was. That happens in any chronological order. They stop it, they seize it, then they go get tested, and then what happens on the back end? So he can testify to what he thought it was. Yes, later on it was tested, but when he stopped it and seized it, this is what he thought it was.
I'm not probably allow that, Ms. Westmoreland.
Okay.
She can cross-examine him on whether or not it was it or wasn't it. What? That's not the issue.
Yeah. So I'll probably allow that. So anyways, what else you have?
All right, Your Honor, for Maldonado, Sergeant Maldonado, from my understanding, the state said he will testify before lunch. This was an incident for 2017, a traffic stop for window violation. We would object to Maldonado testifying that Mr. Nichols was also arrested, beside the arrest for this incident, but also arrested for some other warrants. It's highly prejudicial. It's not probative. Those warrants have nothing to do with this indictment, and so we would object to the officer mentioning warrants.
Yep. All right, Ms. Hilton.
I just need to double check if that was the basis for one of the charges. I'm sorry, I need to double check.
Yep. Just gotta go ahead and throw this joint out. Fuck that. They keep trying to pull sneak attacks and shit. Like,
I'm sorry, I wasn't able to hear you, Ms. Hilton.
Ms. Hilton, you may restate what you just said.
Yes, Your Honor. I said for the purposes of this, for Maldonado,
she not even ready.
The state for Maldonado, because I think this will become relevant for the next officer.
For the next officer for 2017, I'm not aware of. You gave me a list.
Oh, I'm thinking through something really quickly. Okay. Hold on a second. For the purposes of Maldonado, we don't have to go into those additional warrants that were outstanding.
Mm-hmm.
And let me ask you for Maldonado, do you intend on him testifying anything in reference to passenger/owner of the vehicle, Pierre, given consent to search?
Yes.
Okay, Your Honor, we're going to object.
We took up that already.
Well, we took that up for a motion to suppress.
Yes, we did.
We did, but this is now trial, and it's a violation of his confrontational clause.
I'll note your objection.
Okay.
I'll just note your objection.
Thank you, Your
Fair
Honor.
enough. Okay. All right. You want to summon our jurors at this point in time? Yes. Lieutenant, thank you, madam.
They got some gunners on their squad.
All rise for the jury, please.
They got some gunners. Young boy keep laughing. Why you got a smirk, though? Everybody else serious. Man had a smirk. Ain't that some young boy supposed to be testifying? Brian still smiling.
Your Algiers are present and counted.
All right. Thank you, Lieutenant Walker. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Members of the jury, good morning. Good morning. All right, y'all sound good. Sound good. Sound like you're sufficiently sugared and caffeinated. So without further delay, we're going to go ahead and continue with the presentation of the case. Ms. Hilton, call your next witness, ma'am.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state calls Investigator Antonio Skeet to the stand.
All right, summon Investigator Skeet, please.
Oh, they got 700 and something fucking witnesses.
Investigator Skeet, good morning, sir. If you please approach the witness stand. Once you get there, turn and face Sergeant Brown to be sworn as a witness before you sit down, okay?
Basically, y'all gotta do like 5 a day.
Yes.
Damn.
Just the microphone, state your first and last name, and spelling of both.
Name is Antonio Skeet, and that's spelled Antonio. Last name is Skeete.
Good morning, Investigator. How are you?
I am well.
You can sit, turn, and talk to our jurors. Where are you employed?
City of Atlanta Police Department.
Your Honor, I'm going to object to the prosecutor instructing the witness on how to testify.
Overruled.
How long have you been with the City of Atlanta Police Department?
19 years and 5 months.
And in those 5 months, where are you currently assigned to with the police department?
I'm assigned to Criminal Investigation Department, Special Enforcement Section, Fugitive Unit.
And how long have you been with that unit?
I will say about roughly 3 years.
Can you tell the jury briefly about your time at the Atlanta Police Department, starting about where you worked since the police academy?
Okay, after graduating the police academy, I was assigned to Zone 2 Evening Watch patrols. So basically I stayed there until about, I would say 6 years on patrol. Then I was assigned to a unit called the Field Investigation Team. Basically what we used to do is work in hot spots in the Zone 2 area. After that, I was sent to the gang unit, and I spent about a year there. Came back, and I was then assigned to Zone 2 CID as an investigator.
And when you say CID, what do you mean?
Criminal investigations.
Okay. And how long were you with Zone 2's Criminal Investigation Division?
I'll say about
2 years.
maybe about 8 years if I got my math right. But
When did you start with Zone 2 CID?
as far as years, I don't remember what year it was. I mean, my career was so much going on. So as far as the years, I would say back in, is it 2011?
That's when you started with the Zone 2 CID.
Yes.
Okay. And you said you were with Zone 2 CID for about 8 years.
Objection, asked and answered and reading.
I sustain as to form.
How long were you with Zone 2 CID?
Up until I came over here, the fugitive unit, it should be about up to 3 years ago.
As an investigator let me ask you this. Where is Zone 2?
Well, Zone 2 is located in the northeastern part of the city of Atlanta. That would be the Buckhead area. You will have like Buckhead, Cheshire Bridge, 75 all the way up to Chattahoochee Bridge, the bridge between Cobb County and Chattahoochee, and back over to Bolton and Howard Mill, and down to where the water treatment plant is at, which is on Northside Drive.
And as an investigator with Zone 2 CID or an investigator with the Atlanta Police Department, tell the jurors about some of your duties and responsibilities.
Well, as far as a Zone 2 investigator?
Yes.
Well, my duties were general crimes, like basically anything that came in. And there were more investigators, so they would get assigned to each and every investigator. It all depends on what it is. So my duties was just general crimes, meaning burglary, ag assaults. All depends on what needed to be investigated.
And generally, how did an investigator get a case?
The cases are assigned by your supervisor, which will be your sergeant. And as those cases come in, is a list of names of investigators that they will go down the list and assign. I get one today, the next person gets the next case that comes in, and it goes on and all like that until it gets back to your name.
I want to direct your attention to July 10th, 2013. Were you working in Zone 2 as an investigator during that time?
Yes, I was.
And during that period of time, did you have assisted citizen by the name of Andrew Phillips?
Yes, I did.
How were you able to assist that citizen?
Mr. Phillips had a burglary that happened to his premises at 11 DeMorris Avenue, and that's in Zone 2. And I didn't directly made contact with him on the day of the burglary, but he called. I called him. I received a serial number from some of the property that was stolen from that burglary, and that item that was the serial number he had for that item was a SIG handgun. At the time.
What are you looking at?
Just my little notes. That's basically it. I mean, I'm trying to remember. It's 2013.
I know. I just have to make sure whatever you're looking at, the defense counsel knows. So if you need to look at your report, I have a copy for you, okay? When do you recall when he initially reported the burglary?
I think it was 2 days prior to that, if I'm correct.
And you began to say that it was a 6 hour, is that a handgun?
Yes, ma'am.
And was he able to provide you the serial number?
Yes, he did.
What was the serial number?
Can I look at the number?
Do you need to refresh your memory?
Well, I mean, it's
I'm gonna hand you something.
no problem.
And let me ask you this, did you write a report that had his serial number on there?
Yes.
And will looking at a copy of that report help refresh your memory as to what the serial number was?
Yes.
All right. Anybody here? That's right there. My handwriting is crazy. Can I have permission to approach?
You may approach, ma'am.
I'm going to show you what's been marked solely for identification as state 66R. If you can flip through it and see if you see the serial number that helps refresh your memory.
Yes.
Okay. And you can look at it, have your memory refreshed, and then speak to the jury.
Okay. On the 10th of July, I received a serial number from the victim, Mr. Phillips. A SIG P226 handgun with the serial number of Uncle 748574.
And once you receive that, number, did you put that in the police report?
Yes,
And you
and
put that on your system?
yes.
It just sound like he's lying. Maybe it's just me.
I'm going to show you what's already been admitted as State's Exhibit 12B as in boy. If you can take a moment, look at State's Exhibit 12B and let me know the serial number that's on State's Exhibit 12B. Have you had an opportunity to look at State's Exhibit 12B and the serial number?
Yes, I did.
Was that the serial number on the actual gun is the same serial number given to you by Mr. Phillips?
Yes.
After getting the serial number from Mr. Phillips, and putting the serial number on the system, did that conclude your involvement of the case at that time?
No, it didn't. Actually, Mr. Phillips had other items that were missing, but like the shotgun, stuff like that, that he could not locate the serial numbers on. So the case went inactive.
And then did there come a point in time when you learned of Mr. Phillips' gun being recovered?
Yes.
And to your knowledge, you recall when that date where the gun was recovered?
I think it was September the 9th. Was about September the 9th
Of that same year?
of the same year.
I have no further questions.
Cross.
Yeah, the state, it's like the state ain't got nothing.
All right, Mr. Steele, go ahead, whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning. How are you, investigator?
Fine.
Good to see you again. The notes that you brought with you, that you were referring to earlier in your testimony, do you still have them in front of you?
Yeah, they're here.
And did you review those notes and use them to prepare yourself for testimony today?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
May I look at them, Your Honor?
You may.
May I approach?
Yes.
Let's see. Let's see. Break it down. Break it down. I'm skimming over that shit fast as shit. What are you looking for?
Okay. And thank you very much. From your information, the burglary happens approximately July 10th, 2013. Does that sound approximately correct?
Yes, in that ballpark, correct.
Okay. And you don't go out to the house of the Phillips, is that
No.
fair to say?
No.
But you receive a call from Miss Phillips or Mr. Phillips?
Mr. Phillips.
Okay. And you get information to try to learn about what you could do to put the gun or the other property on the system, the computer system. It's fair to say?
So, as far as this cases, when most people call the officer advised them that if they don't have the serial number at that point in time, they can call the investigator that is handling the case to update with the serial numbers.
And that's what you did.
Yes.
And when you received the information on State's Exhibit 12B, which you just looked at and compared to what was given to you, you put that information on a computer system, fair to say?
Yes.
And approximately 2 months later, we're talking about September 9th, 2013 from July 10th, 2013. So about 2 months later, there's a match.
Yes.
On the serial number that is now the gun in 12B. Fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. And you had no involvement in that traffic stop either. Is that fair to say?
Yes, I had no involvement in the traffic stop.
And the traffic stop, again, I'm talking about the September 9th, 2013 traffic stop. True?
Well, as far as the traffic stop, the only thing I got from that was information.
Right.
What?
But you were not involved in that traffic stop?
No.
Okay. And you did nothing further in this matter?
As far as the gun being recovered, what I did after that was basically call to find out if the prints that the officer said he took from the location, if they came back to get a match.
Okay.
But they didn't have any prints.
Okay. And that's it?
And that's it.
That's why you're here?
That's why I'm here.
Okay. Thank you. Your Honor, thank you. Nothing else.
Any further examination, counsels?
That's
All
why
right,
I'm
any
here.
reason, permanent or temporary excusal, Ms. Hilton?
The residents can be permanent.
Permanently excused.
All right. Investigator Skeet, I'm going to permanently excuse you as a witness. You're free to go about your usual duties and avocation. Just don't discuss your testimony with anybody except the attorneys in this case, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir.
You said that's why I'm here. I got like
All right, Madam Clerk,
32
next witness,
witnesses.
please.
Yes, Your Honor. The state calls Wellington Clark.
All right, Stunman Wellington Clark, please.
In a few moments. Be prepared.
All right, Mr. Clark, good morning, sir. Sir, if you would please approach the witness stand. Once you get there, if you'd be so kind to turn and face Deputy Ham, be sworn as a witness before you sit down.
Yes, sir. If I'm telling you nothing about the employees of truth, I'll shoot nothing but truth.
I do.
Telling the truth.
First name Wellington, Wellington. Last name Clark, Clarke.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good, and yourself?
I'm doing well. Where are you employed?
The City of Atlanta Police Department.
And how long have you been in the City of Atlanta Police Department?
I guess about 20 years now.
20 years. And what is your current assignment?
Currently, I work with the License and Permit Unit.
Prior to working for licensing division, where were
You want to run down? Or,
you? Yeah, just give me a quick rundown,
all right,
if you can remember it all.
I went from
Friendly.
crime scene to crime prevention. I went over to our VIC unit before I moved over to License and Permit.
Now, are you a post-certified officer?
Yeah,
Are you a civilian employee with
yes,
APD?
yeah.
Tell the jurors, what do you do when your time when you were a crime scene tech? When was that period of time?
It's probably, I guess, somewhere
We all
between
make
from
us put
2005, I think, all the way up to 2013 or somewhere, all around that, a little past that.
That's the crazy.
Tell the jury,
part.
what do you do
We
as a
all
crime
make
scene
us
tech?
do
What were your job duties and responsibilities?
As a crime scene tech, your primary duty is to process crime scene, collect the evidence, package it, process it, or forward it to GBI.
When you were a crime scene tech, did you go out to every crime that was committed in the city of Atlanta or only some?
Only some.
How was a crime scene tech generally called out to a scene?
They was picking up.
Usually, well, we worked off what we call detective radio, and most of the specialized units work off detector radio, so whenever something would happen in the zone officer will come on to detector radio and then raise crime scene.
And we're going to talk about generally, when you go to a crime scene, tell us a little bit about what happens once you actually arrive on a crime scene.
Well, usually when you arrive at the crime scene, you start to pretty much visualize what are you looking at, what do you have to do, how are you going to process the scene.
And when you say process, what do you mean?
Well, as a crime scene, when you first get to the crime scene, we always say you looked at a crime scene, you take photograph, and you process as is before we start to alter it.
And when you arrive on the scene, do you generally speak with anyone?
Generally, you speak with the beat officer or the investigator, whoever.
And why is that?
You just want to kind of get a brief idea of, why they call you, what is happening, who has already been in the crime scene.
Do you get any direction from either the responding officer or the investigator as to what they're asking of your services?
Yes.
Now I want to direct your attention to January 25th, 2013. Were you working as a crime scene tech on that day?
Yes, ma'am.
And I want to direct your attention to an incident at 2612 Old Hateville Road. Did you have the occasion to respond to that location?
Yes.
And why, do you recall, I know there's been some time, why you were asked to respond to that location?
From my report I read, I think it was involving when I was officer.
It was involving one of your officers?
Yes.
Okay. And what were you asked to do?
Well, I want to believe when I got to the scene, as usual, usually we process it on whatever evidence was there, whatever subject was at the location, and photograph them.
Now, you said when the subject at the scene, when you get on scene, do you know specifically what subjects there are, like their names or date of birth, or are you just told to photograph the subject?
Or just the subject, whoever may be, whoever the officer encountered at that moment or whatever that happened, we just consider them subject.
Outside of taking pictures of any individuals, did you take any pictures of anything else? Do you recall?
Yes, I did.
Okay. What do you recall taking pictures of?
It was a black firearm that was in, I believe, a yellow bucket.
And anything else?
Not right off memory.
Okay. I want to show you what's already been admitted as State's Exhibit 2, 3, 4, and 5. We'll first start with State's Exhibit number 2, and it's going to publish on the screen next to you. Looking at State's Exhibit number 2, do you recognize State's Exhibit number 2?
Yes.
And how do you recognize State's Exhibit number 2?
That's a photograph that I took at the crime scene.
Okay. And now we're going to go next to State's Exhibit number 3. What is that?
That's what we call a close-up of the firearm.
What's the purpose of taking that close-up picture?
Well, we want to get any make, model, or any
Things just want anything, man.
I want to show you what's already been admitted. Oh, excuse me. Did you collect that gun?
Yes, ma'am.
They just doing some of anything. They all sound cocky and lying. It's like they prep these motherfuckers.
I'm going to show you what's already been admitted, State's Exhibit 10A.
It's like they prepped them to lie.
Looking at State's Exhibit 10A, is 10A the
How you
same gun
prep
that is
somebody
in
to lie?
State's Exhibit 3A?
Yes, it is.
And that's the same thing collected back in January 2013?
Yes.
Like these cases 10 years ago, they didn't get the now yet. They didn't get the hammer time.
Now looking at safety exhibit number 4. Do you recall taking pictures of that vehicle?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And were you directed to take pictures of that particular vehicle?
I want to believe so, yes.
And now looking at what's submitted as safety exhibit number 5.
You want to believe so.
Yes.
Okay. Now I'm going to show you what I've already shown the defense counsel previously, but we'll show it again.
Thank you.
Let me just peep these characters.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as safety exhibit 6A as an alpha, 7A, 8A, and 9A. Take a moment and look at those pictures. Do you recognize those pictures?
Yes.
How do you recognize them?
Those are photos that I took at the crime scene.
Okay. And were you directed to take a picture of those 4 individuals?
Yes.
And with those pictures fairly accurately depict the individuals as you took pictures of them on January 25th, 2013?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, this time state by the tender states exhibit 6A, 7A, 8A, and 9A into evidence.
Any objection to any from 6A, 7A, 8A, or 9A? All right, hearing none. 6 alpha, 7 alpha, 8 alpha, 9 alpha are admitted and may be published as you see fit.
Thank you, Your Honor.
This judge is overwhelmed to the max. Wait for a little while.
Now, first thing on 6A, do you recall, were you ever given the names of the individuals when you were taking pictures, or were you just told to take the pictures?
Take
I
the
just took the
picture.
photograph.
Okay, thank you. And was this one of the photographs you took?
Yes.
All right. Now looking at 7A. Was this also, or excuse me, 8A. Was this one of the pictures you took?
Yes.
All right. There might be a scrivener's error, so let's look at 8A
Yes.
and then 9A.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. After you took the pictures and collected the evidence, did that conclude your involvement in the case?
Yes.
I have no further questions.
Cross. All right, no cross? Okay.
He ain't really say nothing.
Permanently or temporarily excused
Permanently.
Mr. Clark.
Permanently excused.
All right,
It was
Mr.
a waste
Clark,
of
thank you for
time.
your patience with us, sir. I'm going to permanently excuse you as a witness. Don't discuss your testimony with anybody except the attorneys in this case, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. All right, call your next witness, please.
Waste of
Yes, Your
time.
Honor, the state calls Deputy Kandakai, Kandakai.
All right, Deputy Kandakai, sir, if you would please approach the witness stand. Once you get there, if you turn and face Sergeant Ingram as to be sworn as a witness before you sit down.
All right, and you swear firm testimony you gave the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth.
Yes.
MC. State spelling first and last name.
First name Morris, Morris. Last name Kandakai, Kandakai.
Sir.
Okay, all right.
All these witnesses just a lie.
All right.
They know them niggas lying. They do it. These niggas frauds. I'm a thug and I'm tired. Like, damn.
For the record, what we discussed has been addressed again.
Okay, all right. You may continue at this point.
Thank you. Deputy Kandakai, where do you work?
Fulton County Sheriff's Office, ma'am.
And how long have you been with the Fulton County Sheriff's Department?
A little over 2 years.
Prior to working with the Fulton County Sheriff's Department, where were you employed?
Atlanta Police Department, Roswell Police Department, South Fulton Police Department.
Okay. And we're going to specifically talk about your time with the Atlanta Police Department. When did you work for the Atlanta Police Department?
I worked for Atlanta Police Department from May 2012 up until October 2015.
So 3 years.
And are you post certified?
Yes, ma'am.
And were you post certified when you worked for APD?
Yes, ma'am.
When you worked for APD, the Atlanta Police Department, What did you do?
Well, once I came out of the training academy, I was assigned to Zone 3.
And where is Zone 3?
Zone 3 is in the
Northwest.
southeast area of the city of Atlanta.
What are some of the major roadways within Zone 3?
You got Metropolitan, Cleveland Ave, Ralph David Abernathy, McDonough Boulevard, Lakewood, just to name a few.
And what were some of your job duties and responsibilities in Zone 3?
As a patrol officer, our primary role and responsibility was answering calls for service. If you had some downtime, you would try to be proactive and, deter crime through traffic stops or addressing 50 suspicious individuals and stuff like that.
And when you're assigned to a zone, do you have a particular beat that you're assigned to?
At first, you're not assigned a particular beat. When I first came to the zone, I was a roustabout. That just means whatever beat needed filling in for that day, I could be assigned to any beat. But after a while in the zone, I did get assigned to a certain beat, which was 308.
Them niggas, don't know that nigga.
And when I say beat, what is beat?
It's just a particular area of responsibility that officer is responsible for in their shift, answering calls or doing anything that may arise on that area.
Walking in the neighborhood.
Now, as a patrol officer, did you have a partner?
We weren't necessarily assigned partners. Sometimes we would ride two to a vehicle if we were short on vehicles or if he was training someone.
Now, if you had to make a stop or arrest anyone, were the officers, as an officer, are you responsible for making a report?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
If there are two of you or multiple individuals involved in a stop, how do you determine who's going to write the police report? How do you determine who's going to write the police report?
I mean, just usually one of us just take it. Someone usually writes a report, other person's writing out tickets, or one person's sworn out the warrants. We share the responsibility.
And if you're on the scene and you're not the person writing the report, do you give your input as to what else may have happened on the scene to include in the report?
Yes.
I want to direct your attention to July 15th, 2015. Were you a patrol officer within Zone 3 of the Atlanta Police Department?
I was actually a crime suppression officer at that time.
Okay. Tell me what's the distinction?
Well, crime suppression unit, we're not assigned, our responsibility isn't necessarily answering 911 calls. We mainly focus on addressing street level crime, deterrent through traffic stops.
Y'all basically worrying about when motherfuckers snitch. When motherfuckers snitch, that's when y'all come alive.
2015, did you have the occasion to encounter a Honda Civic?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. If you can recall, approximately what time of the day was it?
I would say it's roughly in the evening, probably around 7 p.m.-ish.
Okay. And where did you encounter this vehicle?
The traffic stop was conducted at Springside Drive and Macon Drive.
And in relation to any of the thoroughfares that we talked about earlier, specifically Cleveland Avenue, how far is that location from Cleveland Avenue?
Well, that intersection of Macon and Springside, it's about a quarter mile south from the intersection of Macon and Cleveland.
And is that location in Fulton County?
Yes, ma'am.
How did you first encounter that vehicle?
Well, we encountered that vehicle because of the traffic violation.
Okay. What was the traffic violation?
It failed to stop at the stop sign at Springside Drive in Macon.
And where were you? Were you in a patrol car?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you with anyone else?
Yes, I was with Officer Desmond.
Where was the patrol car in relation to, so that you could observe this traffic violation?
We were behind the vehicle.
And were you in a fully marked vehicle?
Yes, ma'am.
And when I say fully marked, what does fully marked mean?
I mean, it's visibly displays the agency. It has light bars. It has working sirens.
If you can recall, who was driving that day?
I was.
The marked patrol vehicle, Officer Desmond was driving.
What happened once you saw the traffic infraction?
We stopped the vehicle for the infraction.
Okay. And what happened next?
Once we got the vehicle stopped, myself and Officer Ledesma, we exited our patrol vehicle to address the traffic infraction with the driver.
Okay. And did you make it to the vehicle?
Yes, ma'am.
What happened upon you making it to the vehicle?
Well, upon making it to the vehicle, I noticed a strong odor of marijuana while walking to the vehicle.
And how did you notice the smell of marijuana?
I smelled the odor of marijuana.
How did you know this was the smell of marijuana?
I was exposed to a controlled burn at Atlanta Police Academy.
Fraud.
When you approached the car, do you recall if you were on the driver's side or the passenger side?
I was on the passenger side.
And where was Officer Ledesma?
He approached the driver's side.
What happened once you all approached the vehicle?
Once I observed the odor of marijuana, I told Officer Ledesma about that, and then he addressed it with the driver.
So he didn't smell it.
Who was the driver of the vehicle?
The driver was Mr. Trontavious Stevens.
Were there other individuals in the car?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Was there someone in the passenger seat?
Yes, ma'am.
Who was in the passenger seat?
Female Miss Marquisha, please forgive me if I misspelled
I still remember the man from 2013.
And do you know how to spell Marquisha?
That's the
I'll have
part
to
I
look
don't
at the report
understand.
if you have one.
You may have.
I'm going to show you what's the mark for identification. Stacey Zimmer, number 67 first. Do you recognize this? 67?
Yes, ma'am.
This
is Atlanta Police
yeah.
report.
And we'll look at a copy of it for help. Refresh them as to the spelling of it.
Yes, ma'am. If I could find it on
This
there.
shit gotta be crazy.
I'm going to direct you to page 4. And the second paragraph, second line from the bottom.
All right. Located it.
You can spell the record.
That's going to be Marquiscia. First name of Marquisha. Last name is Pleas. Pleas.
They said she was in the front passenger seat. Was there anyone else in the vehicle?
Yes, ma'am.
How many other people in the vehicle?
It was one other person besides the driver and passenger.
And where was that person seated?
That person was sitting directly behind the passenger.
And what was that? Were you able to identify who that person was?
Yes, ma'am.
Who?
That person was Mr. Shannon Stillwell Jackson.
Once you all were able to identify the people in the car, what happened next?
Due to the odor of marijuana, we removed all occupants from the vehicle and began a probable cause search.
Did you find anything upon doing a probable cause search?
Yes, ma'am. We recovered marijuana, a firearm, digital scale, and money.
And we're going to first talk about the marijuana. Where was the marijuana?
Marijuana was located underneath the passenger seat.
And what about the digital scale?
It was underneath the passenger seat.
And what about the firearm?
It was underneath the passenger seat.
And so there was some money.
Yes, ma'am.
Where was the money located?
Underneath the passenger seat as well.
Was there anything else found in the vehicle?
Can I refer to the report? I did mention the digital scale, correct?
Yes, you did.
I believe some of the contents was inside a tan bag as well.
Were there any prescribed pills found in the vehicle?
Yes, there were.
Who were the pills? What type of prescribed pills were they?
I believe they were hydrocodone.
And who were they prescribed to?
The front passenger, Miss Please.
As it relates to the firearm, was there anything remarkable about the firearm?
Yes, the serial number was scratched off and altered.
Once you found the marijuana, the scale, and the firearm, what happened next?
We took the occupants into custody.
Let me ask you this, did anyone claim any of the items?
No.
Any of the drugs, or the marijuana or the firearm found?
On the scene, no.
And you said on the scene, no, tell me about that.
While on the scene, no one claimed ownership of the items.
Or nobody gonna claim ownership of that shit.
Did someone try to claim it later on?
Yes, once paperwork was done and completed, someone did try to claim it.
Okay, and who was that?
The driver, Mr. Trontavious Stevens, attempted to claim it in hopes of releasing his girlfriend.
Did he say that or?
Also stand as the form, rephrase if you like.
Sure. Did you have any conversation with Mr. Stevens as to why he wants to claim it?
Well, I don't want to say. Well, he stated, but not verbatim. Officer, you can let my girl go. You know it's not hers. I'll take ownership of it. Not verbatim though, but something similar.
Now, so that you ended up arresting everyone initially.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. When did you have that conversation with Mr. Stevens?
That was after warrants were signed and paperwork was completed.
Was that still on the scene or somewhere else?
That was at the pre-scene at that point.
As it related to Miss Please, what did you take out warrants for?
She was charged with possession of a firearm, during the commission of a felony, possession of marijuana with intent to distribute. I believe that may have been all.
As it relates to Mr. Stevens, what was he charged?
He was charged with a similar marijuana charge and the firearm charge, as well as possession of a firearm by a convicted felon and the traffic infraction as well, the stop sign. And he didn't have his license on his person as well.
And as it relates to Mr. Jackson, what was Mr. Jackson charged with?
He was charged with the possession of marijuana charge, the possession of a firearm, also with possession of a firearm by a convicted felon as well.
Now, as it relates to the firearm, were there any notifications made to any other agencies as it relates to the firearm?
My sergeant at the time, Sergeant Medina, advised he was going to notify the ATF, alcohol, tobacco, and firearm, reference to the firearm, because it was
Scratch that serial number.
Did you collect those items?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
You may not.
I'm gonna show you what the market says here, 56G, 57G, and 58G. How many you recognize?
Am I able to?
Yeah.
Can I open it? This first one, what is 58G, I believe? It's 2 glass jars that was recovered inside the vehicle. It should have been underneath the passenger's seat. 56G is the marijuana recovered from within the vehicle. $57G is the tan cloth bag that the marijuana and some of the items was inside that was recovered underneath the passenger seat of the vehicle as well.
And those three exhibits appear to be exhibits that you collected the advance.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, this time, see, like 26 exhibit 56G, 57G, and 58G as evidence.
Any objection? All right, anybody else? All right, hearing no objection, states 56G, 57G, and 58G are admitted. Published as you see fit.
Thank you, Your Honor. At first, I'm looking at 56G. Is this an individual package? So.
Yes, ma'am.
Were they all inside this bag?
Yes, ma'am.
And the money that was found, how much money was it?
It was $19 in cash in different denominations.
And was that found in this bag as well?
I believe so.
And the firearm, did you collect the firearm as well?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you place that firearm in the property?
Yes, ma'am.
By chance, do you know the day when that firearm was?
No.
After collecting this evidence and taking out the arrest warrant, did that conclusion involve evidence in this case on that day?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, I want to talk to you specifically about the Zone 3 or Cleveland Avenue area. While you were on patrol or working that area as a patrol officer or a crime suppression unit officer, were you aware of any gang activity in that community?
Yeah, we were, we learned about general gang activity or gangs that may be operating in that area, but as far as being a gang investigator, specifically targeting gangs or individuals, that wasn't me.
That wasn't, but you were aware of the gang activity?
Yeah, we were aware of some gangs that may have been operating in that area.
Sure. And specifically, what gangs were you aware that were operating in this area?
Basis.
Hearsay, you don't mind your eye.
I'm overruled the objection on both grounds.
Thank you. What gangs were you aware of?
I mean, in roll call training, we were briefed that Cleveland Avenue area may be occupied by Bloods, YSL, Rock Crew, just to name a few.
All right, court's indulgence. I have no further questions.
Cross. All right, Ms. Sharp, go ahead whenever you're ready, sir. Deputy Kedcott.
Hey, how you doing, sir?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good.
All right.
As you know, I represent Shannon Stillwell. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. First of all, I just want to ask, during this encounter, during this police stop, was Shannon Stillwell cooperative? Was he a gentleman?
I didn't have any issues with him.
Thank you. Now, the marijuana, the items that were found in the car, I want to talk to you a little bit. I'm not going to say borrow. Can I have them close?
So there's an extra one up here if you want it.
We're talking about pills that were in a pill bottle, correct?
Yes.
Prescribed to Marquisha Please.
Yes.
And Marquisha Please, you learned, was the girlfriend of Trontavia Stevens.
Yes.
Okay. And the pills that were prescribed to Marquisha Please were in this brown sack, correct?
I believe so.
Okay. Also in this brown sack was the marijuana in the glass jars, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And the money was also in this brown sack, correct?
Yes.
All under the front passenger seat.
Passenger seat.
Gotcha. Under the passenger seat.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Now the firearm, do you recall, and I understand this is, we're talking about 8 years ago. Do you recall if the firearm was in this bag or not?
I can't recall if it was in the bag, but I know it was underneath the seat as well.
Okay, it was underneath the seat. You're not sure if it was in the same bag as the pills that were prescribed to Trontavia Stevens' girlfriend?
No.
But that's beside the point. The point is, we want to control the outcome, and when you feel like it's been taken out of your hands, that's when you get the visual arrest.
Was the firearm, were the glass jars, or the firearm, were they ever processed for, to your knowledge, for fingerprints or DNA or anything like that?
To my knowledge, I'm not aware. Once we place it in property, the property officers, they handle that.
Okay. Okay, and just so we're clear, Trontavia Stevens, you made the decision. Were you in charge of what to charge and who to charge?
I was a charging officer, yes.
Along with Officer Ledesma? Is that
Yes.
fair to say you consulted with each other?
Yes.
Okay, and you made the decision to charge all three individuals in the car with the gun and the drugs?
Yes.
Okay, and to be clear, the car, the Civic, it was a Civic, correct?
Yes, it was.
Okay, the Civic belonged to Miss Marquisha Please.
Yes, she was a registered owner.
Okay, and her boyfriend, Trontavia Stevens, was driving.
Yes.
And my client, Shannon Still, was in the back seat.
Yes.
Okay. Regarding Mr. Stevens, you recognized him from a previous incident a couple weeks before this incident, correct?
Yes.
In that incident, you were serving backup to Officer Law and Officer Collins in their arrest, correct?
Yes.
And that arrest was of Trontavia Stevens.
Yes, I believe so.
For drug charges.
I believe so.
Okay. And Trontavia Stevens, in this case, after you made those charging decisions to charge all three individuals with both the gun and the drugs, he claimed the items, or he attempted to claim the items.
Yes.
Okay. In the search of the car, you took part in the search of the car?
Yes.
Okay, in the search of the car, did you note any gang-related paraphernalia or anything inside the car?
No, I didn't document any gang paraphernalia.
Okay, and in your charging decisions, that you and Officer Desmond made, did you charge any of the individuals in the car with violation of the Gang Act, the Georgia Gang Act?
No.
Okay. I have no further questions. Thank you.
Any further cross counsels? Anyone? Any redirect?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
First, do you see Mr. Shannon Stillwell in front of that?
Yes, ma'am.
You can identify him by article of clothing. Can you identify him by article of clothing?
It's going to be the gentleman wearing the brown blazer with the black turtleneck in the far back left corner of the courtroom.
Your Honor, please let the record reflect that Deputy Henniger has identified Mr. Stillwell. About the gun, were you ever able to run it to determine if it was stolen or not?
I was not able to. The serial number was scratched off.
And would it have been a general practice to run it if the serial number was not obliterated?
Yes, ma'am.
Where you found the drugs, you said it was under the passenger seat.
Yes.
Was it close to the front passenger seat, the back passenger seat, the middle, or do you remember?
It was just underneath the passenger seat.
Oh no, man.
And where Mr. Stillwell was sitting, where was he sitting at inside of the car?
Directly behind the passenger seat.
In his position, could he have access to where you found the drugs?
Yes.
Basically saying I still will, Joe.
And when you spoke to Mr. Stevens about the claiming, this was after the fact.
Yes.
No further question.
Anything further?
Just so we're clear,
Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe, y'all.
people were charged with one gun, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and
That's my
the
guy right
location
here.
where ultimately the stop took place was at Trontavia Stevens' grandmother's house, correct?
Well, the violation occurred at Macon and Springside, but the final stop of the vehicle was at his grandmother's house.
And how far was that from the spot of the
Got
violation?
them all.
Could have been 4 or 5 houses down from it.
Okay, thank you.
Anything further?
Actually, yes, Judge. This is a difficult question if I can. Deputy Henniger, I heard you, a little while ago, you identified Shannon Stillwell in the court. You don't see Trontavia Stevens, do you?
No, sir.
Okay. $19 was how much was recovered from the car? 19 bucks?
Yes.
That was in the same bag, right, with the marijuana and the pills prescribed to Ms. Please?
Yes, I believe so.
And the marijuana was, what, like a misdemeanor amount of marijuana, is that right?
No, with the way it was baggaged and with the money and the skill, it was felony amount of marijuana.
The amount, the weight was how much?
Approximately 16 grams, but due to it being bagged in
small
in
amount.
individual plastic baggies, the digital skill, and the currency that was consistent with intent to distribute,
Right.
which made it a felony.
Yeah, that was my question. My question was the amount. The amount of marijuana.
The amount
16
was
grams?
under.
Yes. So it's an ounce, right?
It's less than an ounce, yes.
Okay, got you. Less than an ounce of marijuana is a
Personal
misdemeanor
use.
amount of marijuana.
By itself, yes.
Okay, got you. And the money that you're talking about, that you say went to your consideration was 19 bucks.
Yes.
Okay. I heard you say something earlier at the beginning. This stop came about as a result of a traffic violation, right?
Yes.
You weren't called to the scene saying that anybody was doing anything, right?
No.
You weren't called to the scene because you suspected anybody was about to engage in any sort of racketeering activity or anything like that, did you?
Objection, Your Honor.
I'll sustain the objection.
All right. You stopped the car because you were patrolling, and lo and behold, it's a red light violation, and bam, that gave you authority to stop the car.
Stop sign violation.
Stop sign, red light, stop sign. Okay, traffic infraction is what you referred to.
Yes, sir.
Okay, got you. And then we go from there to, I think you said, what, smell of marijuana?
Yes, sir.
And search of the car, you find the stuff, and everyone gets arrested, right?
Yes, sir.
And then later on, Stevens tells you
What's this?
something to the effect of, you don't remember exactly, you can let my girlfriend go. You know it ain't hers. It's my stuff. He said something like that, right?
Yeah, to that effect, yes.
All three of them still went to jail, all right?
Paperwork was already completed.
And once the paperwork's done, they go in jail.
Well, he had the opportunity to tell me that at the beginning.
Yeah, but he did at some point, right?
After the fact that the warrants were signed and the judges were notified and we was en route to the jail.
Right. So regardless of what you found out after that, paperwork's done, they go in jail.
At that point, yeah, the decision was made. Yes, sir.
All right, that's all I got. Thank you.
Anybody else? Anything further from the state?
That $19, it was not found in a wallet or anything, it was found in a bag next to the marijuana
Yes, ma'am.
and underneath the seat of the car in the marijuana?
Yes, ma'am.
Anything further? All right, may we permanently or temporarily excuse Officer Kanikai?
Permanently.
All right, Officer Kanikai, thank you for your patience.
Well,
With us. I'm
you
going
was
to permanently
cool.
excuse you as a witness. Don't discuss your testimony with anybody except the attorneys in this case, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, sir.
What was this?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's almost the noontime hour. Well, how about some lunch? How about a stretch break and some lunch? Okay, all right. Let's go ahead and plan on coming back for 1 o'clock, and we'll go ahead and get started at that point in time. We'll see where the afternoon leads us at that point. Remember, the admonitions that the court has given you, you're still bound by them. If you should decide to step outside your headquarters, leave your notepads in the basket and come on back ready and prepared for 1 o'clock, okay? All right, anything from me? Okay, all right, unless we have anything, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy your lunch. We'll see you at 1 o'clock. All rise. He's already.
So it's an extra one up here if you want it.
This ain't right.
Talking about pills that were in a pill bottle, correct?
Yes.
Prescribed to Marquisha Please.
Yes.
And Marquisha Please, you learned, was the girlfriend of Trontavia Stevens.
Yes.
Okay. And the pills that were prescribed to Marquisha Please were in this brown sack, correct?
I believe so.
Okay. Also in this brown sack,
from YouTube. Richard, this is going to you. How much is the state depending on witness testimony to prove YSL is a gang?
The gang. That's
Well, I think probably a lot. I mean, that to me is ultimately what they have to put on to show it. You know, they started the trial, and I thought very smartly, educating the jury on what a gang is, to give them and us some background and some parameters for what kind of activity would be gang activity. But I think they're very much going to have to rely on witness testimony to prove that YSL is in fact a gang and not just a record label.
Well, the other thing, after these witnesses got on the stand, these expert witnesses, then when you see photos and they're actually doing the signs, it does make that connection for the jury, right?
That's right. That was the point of putting on the experts first, so that everything else the jury sees, they will look through that lens. Normally you would put on experts at the end of the case, but I think this made a lot of sense here.
I do too. I've learned a lot actually from those experts. Okay, Brian, this one is for you. Real with Robo, and this is from YouTube. This case seems to be messy because a few charges they'll need to prove before testifying with Rico. How are they going to do all of that together?
Yeah, so oftentimes we talk about a case about being connecting the dots, but here you have to literally paint the dots and then connect them themselves. The dots being the actual crimes themselves. We've already seen some testimony, for example, of Young Thug being accused of having an a stolen gun in his vehicle, right? That's the dot of possessing a stolen gun. We then heard from the person who said, well, my home appeared to be burglarized. I had a gun here, and they're connecting that gun to the burglarization. Then the other connection is, how is this in furtherance of a gang? How is this not just someone stole a gun and gave it to Young Thug, or someone, maybe Young Thug purchased the gun and unfortunately bought a hot gun? It's all that connection and the painting of the dots that need to be done.
You know, it's interesting. The prosecutor said during our opening that all of the acts don't have to be criminal. Can you explain that to our viewers?
Yeah, so in order for a RICO charge to be to work, it just needs to be, I think, like 3 or more people conspiring for a criminal enterprise.
Was at that point, the judge did ask for cameras not to show investigators' faces. But I will say one more thing. I've talked to multiple sources over at the Atlanta Police Department, and we know that during some of this testimony, when we're showing faces, that the addresses of some of the officers were being posted online. There's been some threats also. I'm not sure if they're credible
That's why
or
they
not.
want to show their faces.
As you can imagine, the last thing they want to do is put these witnesses' lives in danger. So that could potentially be playing a role in them not letting us show the faces. But again, we're still working to find out the exact answer from the judge.
All right, so the judge basically is asking everyone in the courtroom, the reporters, to just not show those witnesses. Hopefully we'll get the cameras back up with the other witnesses. All right, you know, what are you expecting to happen after the lunch break? We've gone through a number of witnesses. Some of the witnesses were victims of crime. Some of the witnesses were these law enforcement officers. What do you expect that the prosecution will do after the lunch break?
So if they go as planned, it sounds like we're going to hear from about 4 more law enforcement witnesses who will testify about 1 o'clock Eastern time when they return from lunch. We're also being told that there could be some body camera footage, maybe from a traffic stop. So it sounds like we're going to hear a lot of law enforcement for the rest of the afternoon. But of course, you know, there's been some things that have stalled out testimony, been some delays, some objections. So, you know, the plan is 4, but you never know.
All right. You have been wonderful. That is Michael Seiden from WSB TV on the ground for us. Please stay tuned. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, keep writing those questions. We will take all of the viewer questions that we possibly can. We'll be right back.
Shout out to Law and Crime, man.
You as well. You never know. Have done what I for yourself. Do you tuning in?
Yes, I think it's more style something, but this one is in place.
Because there are all these preliminary hearings and the like.
Depending on who you are, our profession as attorneys is not for the thin-skinned. I tell people that you are a shield and a conduit for the persons that you represent. And so if you are representing the state, then you sometimes have to take a tongue lashing for the better interest of the state. And most definitely, when you're representing someone in their rights, whether it be their liberty or their property or financial interest, you might have to do the same. And you have to have a relationship with a judge that is both professional in a way that if you mess up, you just got to take that tongue lashing. And if you have the opportunity to be jovial and make that joke, then you do that as well. But I think it's a nature of our profession that kind of steels us towards being able to do this.
Right. And Richard, my question for you is, do you think that the judge has anything to worry about? I mean, if Judge Glanville could. This is Brian. That I know the answer.
So they definitely have to be coordinated. It would be fun to make the jury a lot more willing to be convinced that there were crimes committed.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
They
Good
got
points.
the
Both of you.
clothes
Thank you so
there. They
much.
got all
We're going
type
to
of
take
stuff
a
on
quick
them.
break. Please stay with us. We have so much to break down, and keep sending those viewer questions. We'll get to as many of them as we can. Courtroom to start back up again for the RICO trial against rapper Young Thug. The artist, whose real name is Jeffrey Williams, is on trial along with 5 co-defendants. Now, while we wait for proceedings to continue, we're taking viewer questions from YouTube. So let's get right back into it. I have with me Brian Buckmeyer, Richard Schoenstein, 2 great legal analysis here. All right, Chad's House from YouTube. I'll give this to you, Brian. Do you think the defense will put forth evidence of their own? Will they call witnesses? Will they have people come to the stand?
Yes. I think the difficulty here is whether or not it's going to be character evidence. I think there's going to be people who come on and say, you know what, I know ISL. I stepped into this organization and all I've been doing is making music. There is no gang affiliation. There's no one asking me to go sell nickel bags at the corner or doing a gun run here. YSL is Young Stoner Life, not Young Slime Life. They got to walk the tightrope, though, of not getting to character evidence of Young Thug would never hurt a fly, because when you open that door, then the prosecution gets to have the opportunity to confront that with other evidence that they might not have been able to bring in themselves. I'm not sure if they're going to relitigate the individual crimes themselves. We've already hinted at the fact that some of these are arrests, not convictions. They may find witnesses to be able to testify to that effect. So, for example, maybe someone comes in and says, yeah, do
that can come in.
Yeah. So, Dovrico said,
A23 is 23A?
Yes,
23A.
1174.
All right. Can you email everybody the proposed instruction, please?
Yes.
All right, do that now.
Your Honor, Westmoreland, on behalf of Nichols, we are asking for the same instruction for 2017 and 2018 conviction that I anticipate that the state will try to introduce today. Both of those cases were Alford, please.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Shard, have you sent that to the court already?
Yes, Your Honor. Been received.
I got it. I haven't received it.
Got it?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Yeah, I'm blizz on it. It don't matter. All right, on my way.
What's the state's position on?
This joint getting
I
serious
don't
on
get
his way.
of course, the case and the citation, so.
That's fine. Less the North Carolina.
Yeah, I would, if I give it, it would be the trial court may accept a guilty plea from a defendant who claims innocence if the defendant has intelligently concluded that it is in his best interest to plead guilty, and the court has inquired into the factual basis for the plea and sought to resolve the conflict between the plea and the claim of innocence.
They trying to get off of that.
All right, Mr. Shard, I'm just going to remind you, and I'm going to remind Ms. Westmoreland. If you ask about this and any witness, it is a form of a guilty plea, and it'll be recorded as such. That's not in here. I'm not going to give that. If you open the door as to it, it's going to be, I'm going to include that.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay? Both of you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Westmoreland? Yes. Okay, I just wanted y'all to make sure. Okay. Can Ms. Hilton, if you'll just let me know before that, if that is,
Your Honor, actually, the state intends to start with the introduction of certified copy of conviction for.
Sorry, so the microphone, please.
Oh, sorry.
Your Honor, the state intends to start with the introduction of the certified copy of conviction for Trontavious Stevens, 2 for Mr. Stevens and 1 for Mr. Jackson, Stillwell Jackson.
okay, so who, madam?
Yes, so for Trontavious Stevens, in indictment 13 SC 116787.
Count, I need to know their names.
Trontavia Stevens.
Mr. Stevens?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, who else?
And then there'll be a second certified copy for Trontavia Stevens as well, under indictment 15 SC 140132, as well as for Mr. Shannon Jackson under that same indictment number.
And I would just ask that when we introduce your conviction for Mr. Stillwell, we introduce it as a guilty plea under offer instead of just guilty. So it gives context to the judge's instruction, Your Honor's instruction.
That's fine, Your Honor.
Okay, I'll start off with that and I'll tell them words to this effect. Ladies and gentlemen, you're about to receive evidence in regards to some prior convictions. And I'll just put the trial court may accept a guilty plea. And I'll just include that from there. Okay?
Your Honor, if I might, for the record, Carson Matthews for Mr. Huey, for the record, we would object to the introduction of these certified convictions coming in to this trial. We would argue that they are hearsay, that we don't have an opportunity to cross-examine these particular certified copies or these certified convictions.
Have you seen them?
I have seen them.
Okay, all right.
And with respect to that, Your Honor, I would argue that under Stafford versus the state, that's going to be 312 Georgia 811 2021 case. And we would argue to the court that
What's the citation again? You said what?
312 Georgia 811, and where it talks about hearsay statements that implicate a co-conspirator but do not advance the object of the conspiracy, such as statements that merely spill the beans about the conspiracy, were not admissible. So we argue that this conflicts the Sixth Amendment confrontation clause issue as well. And on that basis, Your Honor, we would object to these convictions coming in at this trial.
State, you want to be heard on any of the issue before I rule?
Yes, Your Honor. I believe the Stafford.
The Stafford case, Your Honor, is talking about co-conspirator statements. This isn't a statement. This is a certified copy of Mr. Stevens' conviction in this case, which is proof of the underlying crimes, which is a part of the overall RICO conspiracy, Your Honor. So I don't believe that Stafford applies in this case and in this instance, Your Honor.
Judge, we would just argue to the court that the convictions were prepared or done in a courtroom setting. So we would argue that we don't have the opportunity to cross-examine any of that conviction, any of the policy, any of what went into that particular point.
All right, thank you, Mr. Matthews. I'm going to deny your motion. And I'm surprised you didn't let Mr. Steele argue that since it's his case. But anyways, sir.
And I heard you ruling last week, Your Honor, State versus Jefferson.
Yes, sir.
Again, if we have a continuing objection.
You may, sir.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
You may, sir. All right. Okay. Anything else? Summon our jurors, please.
All rise for the jury.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Do me a favor. Remove one of those chairs and move everybody over one.
Back to the.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Okay.
You want this chair? I'm fine. If y'all slide this one.
All right, thank you, Sergeant Ingram. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you have a good lunch?
Yes.
All right, excellent. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you are about to receive some certified convictions in evidence. A trial court, I'm just going to give you a preliminary instruction as to how you're to consider those. I'm going to give you this instruction now, and I'll give you some more fuller. I'll give you a fuller instruction at the end of the trial when I charge you formally on the law you shall apply to the facts and the evidence as you determine them to be. A trial court may accept a guilty plea from a defendant who claims innocence if the defendant has intelligently concluded that it is in his best interest to plead guilty, and the court has inquired into the factual basis for the plea and sought to resolve the conflict between the plea and the claim of innocence. Call your next witness.
Thank you, Your Honor.
At this time, Your Honor, the state would like to enter State's Exhibit 11A pursuant to 24-9-901 subsection 1, which is a certified copy of the conviction of Trontavious Stevens in case number 13 SC 116787, where he pled guilty to aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony.
This takes 11A, is that correct?
11A, yes, Your Honor.
You said it was an offered plea?
This was not an offered plea, Your Honor.
Okay, all right.
He received 10 years to serve 60 days commuted time served. His balance was on probation. And this is for the January 25th, 2013 aggravated assault with Captain Reginald Pettis. And that's my conclusion for State's Exhibit 11A that we'd like to tender as a self-authenticating document.
All right, any further objection as to 11A?
May we approach briefly?
We can hope down wide. Hope that exit does, please. So, please, Your Honor. Really, please. There we go. Fuck it down. Okay. I'm gonna have to swing him again. Okay, that. Thank you.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, remember what I just instructed you as in terms of what a trial court may accept a guilty plea from a defendant who claims innocence if the defendant has intelligently concluded that it is in his best interest to plead guilty, and the court has inquired into the factual basis for the plea and sought to resolve the conflict between the plea and the claim of innocence. This is called an Alford plea. Okay? ALFORD.
Donna took that.
RD. It's called a sought to guilty who claims innocence if the defendant has intelligently concluded you as in terms of. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, remember what I just instructed you as in terms of what a trial court may accept a guilty plea from a defendant who claims innocence if the defendant has intelligently concluded that it is in his best interest to plead guilty, and the court has inquired into the factual basis for the plea and sought to resolve the conflict between the plea and the claim of innocence. This is called an Alford plea. Okay?
Alford.
ALFORD.
That's what Ghana and the other courts, a couple of other courts.
May I continue, Your Honor?
Yes, you may. States 11. Any further objections, States 11A? No. Okay, States 11A is admitted.
Next, Your Honor, the state would like to tender into evidence States Exhibit 59, G as in golf. This is under case number, 15 SC 140132 for Mr. Trontavious Stevens, where he pled guilty to possession of marijuana with intent to distribute, criminal use of an article with altered ID mark, possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, failure to obtain stop sign, failure to have license on his person. He pled on the 10th day of March of 2016 before the Honorable Judge Henry Newkirk. He received 20 years to serve 10 years commuted time served, balance on probation.
What was that, Ghana?
And that was for the incident involving the stop with the marijuana on July 15th, 2015.
Yeah, like that,
We would like to tender this again pursuant to as a self-authenticating document pursuant to 24-9-901 subsection 1.
Subsection what now?
1. And then last, Your Honor, under.
Any objection to 59G, sir? Or madam? Okay, all right. I'll note your continuing objection and it's admitted over objection.
And last, for this particular portion, Your Honor, we have under the same indictment number, 15 SC 140132, the certified copy of the conviction involving Mr. Shannon Jackson, where he pled guilty under Alford to possession of marijuana with intent to distribute, criminal use of an article with altered ID mark, possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, where he received 10 years to serve 3 years balanced on probation. And that is also for the incident involving the stop on July 15th, 2015.
And this is states what number?
60G.
That's going on thugging them kids.
Any further objection to 60G? That otherwise hasn't been made already? Okay, so I'll note your objection. 60G will be admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. And we're ready for our next witness.
All right, call your next witness, please, ma'am.
Your Honor, City Hall Sergeant Carlos Maldonado.
Sir Maldonado, good afternoon, sir. Sir, if you would please approach the witness stand. Once you get there, if you would turn and face Sergeant Ingram, be sworn as a witness before you sit down.
Yes, sir.
Raise your hand. You swear affirm testimony to give the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
I do.
I have seen. State and spell your first and last name for the courts now into the mic.
Sure. My name is Sergeant Carlos Maldonado. Carlos is C-A-R-L-O-S, and Maldonado is M-A-L-D-O-N-A-D-O.
And Sergeant Maldonado, where are you employed?
I'm employed at the City of Atlanta Police Department
And how long have you been with the City of Atlanta Police Department?
for 11 years.
Where are you currently assigned?
Currently assigned to the Aggravated Assault Unit as a supervisor and as a federal task force officer with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives.
And how long have you been assigned to this unit?
Been with this unit since the summer of 2022.
If you can briefly tell the jury about your work history with the Atlanta Police Department.
Sure. Was graduated from the academy, and I was assigned to Zone 4, which is encompasses the southwest section of the city of Atlanta, all the way from the West End neighborhood of Atlanta to Camp Creek Parkway, pretty much are the extreme boundaries of that zone. I was a patrol officer on evening watch, which is pretty much the middle of the day from 3 o'clock in the afternoon till at that point in time it was midnight. And then following my time on patrol, I went to the Zone 4 Field Investigations Team, and I was assigned to target patrol and do target enforcement for areas following certain crime trends. For example, if there was a string of robberies in the area or burglaries, we were assigned to go and tackle that problem in that area. Following that, I was promoted to detective. I was assigned to the robbery unit for the city of Atlanta, investigating all armed robberies and bank robberies in the city of Atlanta. Following that, I was transferred to the homicide unit and worked homicides. And then I was promoted to sergeant in the fall of 2020. And I was assigned back as a supervisor for that same FIT team, the Zone 4 Field Investigations Team. I was on the Zone 4 FIT team until the summer of 2022 when I was moved to my current assignment as a supervisor for the Aggravated Assault Unit.
So it takes you to July 3rd of 2017. What year were you assigned to in 2017?
I was assigned to the Zone 4 Field Investigations Team as an officer.
Now, as a FIT officer, you kind of talk about some of your roles and responsibilities. As a FIT officer, did you talk with the community about some of the concerns or concerns?
I did. More times than not, it was business owners. They would have complaints that they would make.
Cases. I'll sustain the objections to form. You can go ahead and rephrase.
Would you speak with the community members?
I would.
Okay. And was it about crime?
Yes.
And what were you talked generally about 1 to 15, what were some of your job duties and responsibilities?
Sure. Like I said, we were basically anytime that there was an issue going on within our zone, we were assigned to tackle that problem. Unlike a regular patrol officer who's just handling 911 calls or just doing their own self-initiated patrol, we didn't answer any sort of 911 calls. So if there was, say, as I stated previously, a rash of burglaries ongoing in a certain part of the zone, we were tasked with coming up for like a plan to help suppress those burglaries or whatever crime trend that it was. Typically, Zone 4 Fit, we would do traffic stops as well as suspicious person stops, actually stop vehicles or stop people. We also operated in undercover capacity as well, so where we could just go out there, not readily identifiable as police, and be able to put eyes on the community in a sense when they weren't expecting to see police.
And just talk a little bit about some members were undercover, where there some people operating plainclothes as well as uniform.
Yeah, so those are the three facets that we operated. One is an undercover capacity, which, as I stated, is when you're not readily identifiable as police, driving regular vehicles and wearing regular clothes. We also operated in a plainclothes capacity, which is where we're not wearing a uniform, but we are readily identifiable as police. In this case, the typical fashion that we address is wearing a vest that was clearly marked as police on the front and the back. And so if you were to see me, you would readily identify me as a police officer. And then, of course, the uniform capacity, which is the standard image you have of a police officer on patrol wearing a full marked uniform and operating in a marked vehicle.
Now, as a part of 15, when you went out to go into the community, were you by yourself or did you work with a team?
So on the Zone 4 Fit team, it's like I said, it's a team environment. Typically, I'd be paired up with one officer. My partner at the time in 2017 was Officer Owen. And then we would have another vehicle, which would be occupied multiple times. So whenever we went and encountered a person, it wasn't just a single officer that was dealing with that person. We always had a team approach. So that way we definitely would have like a backup if we wound up in a situation where we needed it. More times than not, because we were operating in undercover capacity, we already saw people that were committing violations. So we knew that we were about to enter a situation that wasn't just a typical, stop on the street and just trying to talk with somebody.
I want to take to July 3rd, 2017. Did you have the occasion to encounter a 2016 Volkswagen Jetta?
I did.
And how did you first encounter or see that Jetta?
Sure. My partner, Officer Owen, and I were patrolling the area of the 700 block of Cascade Avenue when we observed the vehicle exit an apartment complex, which was the Volkswagen Jetta, which had a very heavy tint on all of the windows.
And when you say very heavy, to describe it.
It was to the point where, this was in the afternoon, about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and we could not see inside of the vehicle to see who was operating inside of this vehicle.
Once you saw the vehicle,
Sure, we got behind the vehicle and initiated a traffic stop at the next major intersection the vehicle came to, which is the intersection of Cascade Avenue and Donnelly Avenue.
And where did you actually stop?
The vehicle pulled into the drive-thru of a Checkers restaurant, which is right at that intersection, and we initiated the stop when the vehicle was in the drive-thru.
Once you initiated the stop, what happened?
At that point in time, there were other members of my unit who came to join us on the stop. Myself and Owen approached the driver's side of the vehicle, and the other officers approached the passenger side of the vehicle.
Why was the car pushing right there?
Typically, at this point in time, with this vehicle, we couldn't see inside the vehicle, so for just added safety, we had multiple people approach the vehicle.
Once you approach the vehicle, what happened?
We asked the driver to lower the windows because we couldn't see inside of the vehicle, and the door cracked open a little bit, and we were given a response they couldn't roll the windows down because the windows were freshly tinted.
At that point, when you were given a response that because it was freshly tinted, they couldn't roll down the windows, did you know if there was anyone else inside the vehicle?
At that point in time, no.
Did not know.
At that point in time, no.
Normally they snatch you right out when you try to say that.
From the driver that they couldn't roll down the windows, what happened next?
We asked the driver for his driver's license, and he stated that he did not have one. And at that point in time, he was detained in handcuffs.
Once he was detained, was he removed from the vehicle?
He was.
Where was he placed?
He was placed in the rear seat of the patrol vehicle, which I was assigned to that day.
What happened next?
I changed his name and date of birth to run him on the in-car computer, and at that point in time, discovered he did not have a driver's license.
And what was his name?
His name was, I'm sorry?
What was the name he gave?
Kamarius Nichols.
Once you ran, he came back unlicensed. What happened next?
I had stepped out of the vehicle, and at that point in time, I was told by another member of my team, Officer Chisholm, that we had received consent to search the vehicle.
And at this point, did you have other occupants in the vehicle?
Yes, at that point in time, we knew that the vehicle was occupied more than just the driver.
How many other people?
They have any license?
In addition to the driver, there were 3 adults and a minor child.
Okay. So let's talk about the 3 adults. Was there someone seated in the passenger seat?
Yes, there was.
Excuse me, the front passenger seat?
Yes, there was.
Who was that person?
It was a female by the name of Fabian Pierre.
And then was there anyone in the back seat?
There was.
Okay. Who was in the back driver's side?
Directly behind the driver was an individual by the name of Brendan Warren.
And then what about behind the back passenger?
It was an individual by the name of Norman Harris.
And then where was the minor child?
I can't recall. I can't recall. They were I think in the back, but I don't remember.
Y'all niggas gonna be remembered that shit.
What happened once you all received consent to search the vehicle?
Myself and other members of the team proceeded to search the vehicle.
And what, if anything, did you find?
Sure. In the center console, we located a bag of suspected powder MDMA. We also found a pill bottle which contained 6 suspected pills of what was known as alprazolam. It goes by the brand name of Xanax, and a single suspected pill of ecstasy. Next to the pill bottle, there were several other glassine baggies, which are commonly used to in narcotic sales.
Faces.
Which are commonly used to you would place narcotics in the bag and then distribute them when you sell them. In addition to that, a loaded 9mm handgun was located underneath the driver's seat.
And I know you just said, but if you say it again, where were the suspected drugs or narcotics?
They were in the center console.
And within the center console, did it appear that anyone in public had to get access to?
Yes, it was within arm's reach of all the occupants.
Now, I know you said you received consent. Was that from the driver? Was that from the owner of the vehicle?
It was.
Basis.
Hearsay in violation of confrontation clause for Georgia confrontation clause and the United States confrontation clause. He did not receive this.
I'll overrule the objection. Note your objection. Continue objection for the record, madam.
And once you found the suspected drugs and the firearm, what happened next?
At that point in time, we weighed the suspected drugs to see what the amount was. It ended up being, visibly it was quite a large amount, so we wanted to see what the appropriate charge would be for the narcotics. And then I Mirandized everyone in the vehicle to see if they would speak to me, and only one person elected to speak with me.
Okay. Did anyone claim, Your Honor?
You had an objection?
May be approached.
All right, talk radio.
I can't hear you.
You holding the button?
Joe points out that Jason's ability to balance, being a superstar player while also being a teammate, he's willing to do whatever it takes to put his teammates in the best position to succeed. see? Because that balance is so hard, and it really should be considered when you have that conversation at the end of the year for most valuable player.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing he does, and all the offensive stuff that we saw, but what people don't realize is how much of an impact he makes defensively. You saw the 8.8 rebounds.
This trial gonna go on to like damn near March. This shit's sad. It's gonna be pushed back for all the holidays, New Year's, Christmas. Shit gonna be down in February.
You want to advise your officer not to say anything else about that?
It looked like that judge just got a bunch of.
I will deny the motion.
Permission for.
Yes, please.
Honor, may I preserve my motion?
Yes, I've already noted for that for the record now.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay.
As it related, I know you said you tested the drugs, the weight of the drug. Did you do the field test for the drug itself?
No, the drugs were submitted and it's conducted by another person, not us on scene.
Who was?
Did you ever test the window tint?
I did.
And did you determine if it was of a legal tint limit?
It was below. It was measured at 21%. 1%.
Legal tint limit.
It was below. It was measured at 21%.
And on that evening, was anyone arrested?
Yes.
Who?
All the occupants of the vehicle.
And did you collect the items that were found in the car?
I did.
And what did you do once you collected them?
A member of our team at the end of the shift submitted it to Atlanta Police Property to be submitted as evidence.
And what happened with the vehicle?
The vehicle, as well as the child, we stayed on scene and released it to the child's aunt at the request of Ms. Pierre.
Now, permission to approach?
Yes.
I'm first showing you what's been marked as 61, 62, and 63H. Tell me if you recognize 61, 62, and 63H.
Oh, these joints gonna go to like March, February.
I do.
And how do you recognize 61, 62, and 63H?
All these items are marked with the City of Atlanta evidence label with our case number and then a description of what they are, which reflects what I've notated in the report.
And that's what you thought it was when you.
Objection to the leading question.
I sustain questions to form. You can rephrase them.
Is that what you thought it was? Those drugs that you named earlier?
Yes, it's labeled as on here what the items are.
And also looking at 64H. Tell me if you recognize 64H.
Yes, I do.
And how do you recognize 64H?
This is the firearm which we retrieved from the vehicle, and it's accurately labeled like the previous items with an Atlanta Police evidence label that has our case number.
And does this appear to be all the items that you found back in July 3rd, 2017?
Yes.
Your Honor, this time the state would like to admit Exhibit 61, 62, and 63H, as well as 64H.
Any objection?
Yes, Your Honor, I renew my objection from earlier this morning.
And it's continuing.
Thank
I'll
you.
note that. I'll admit
Hey,
61,
no
62,
objection?
63H, and 64H over objection.
Permission.
Any purposes you see fit.
Thank you, Your Honor. First, looking at 61H, if we can tell the jurors what you thought this was.
Sure. It's going to be 6 pills of suspected alprazolam, which, as I stated before,
Xanax.
Hold on.
So first with 61H. What's 61H?
sure, there's 6 suspected pills of
It's the longest
alprazolam,
ball
which goes by the
in
common
history.
name of Xanax.
And looking at 62H.
And that is a single suspected pill of ecstasy.
And lastly, looking at 63H.
And that is the suspected MDMA powder, which totaled at 47.7 grams with the ecstasy pill.
And now looking at 64H.
And that is a 9mm Taurus handgun, which at the time had 10 cartridges in the magazine and 1 in the chamber.
And where was the gun found again?
Underneath the driver's seat.
Yeah, we put it back there. Nigga in the back.
Now, after collecting the evidence, and taking it down to APC property, did that conclude your involvement in the case?
After transport and obtaining the warrants and the report, yes.
Okay, and you just mentioned something, you said it was 10 cartridges one that was in the chamber. What's that?
Sure, it means that in the magazine, which is inserted into the well of the weapon, there were 10 cartridges or otherwise known as rounds. And then there was an additional round that was in the chamber of the weapon, meaning that if the trigger was pulled, it would fire.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Cross.
Good afternoon, Sergeant Maldo.
Afternoon.
All right, so you just explained to us that you were a member of the FIT team, correct?
That is
During
correct.
2017. And it would be fair to say that one of the differences between the FIT team and a regular street patrol team is to target high-level crimes?
That is correct.
Okay. And during this time period, you were following the trend of robberies, that's fair?
That is correct.
Okay. And when you saw this vehicle, you did not suspect this vehicle as being a participant in any type of robbery, correct?
No, that is correct.
You saw car window tints, and that is the sole reason you pulled this car over. That's your testimony, right?
That is correct.
Okay. And you explained that you had several FIT members with you, correct?
Correct.
You plus 4 more.
I think it was myself, Owen, and yes, myself and 4 more.
All right. And the FIT team, you were in 2 separate vehicles that day, correct?
That is correct.
And you saw this vehicle, you pulled this vehicle over, and all of the FIT team approached the vehicle, correct?
That is correct.
Now, it is general practice for the FIT team to all get out of the vehicles and approach a vehicle at the same time, right?
It is.
All right, so it wasn't just the window tint. That wasn't the reason that that all of the FIT team approached the vehicle. You always all approach the vehicle, generally speaking, correct?
Correct.
All right. So you had the vehicle surrounded, 3 officers on one side, 2 officers on the other, correct?
Correct.
And Officer Owens actually went to the driver's side where Mr. Nichols was sitting, right?
Correct. I was next to him.
Okay. All right. So Officer Owens, from your understanding, asked Mr. Nichols to roll down his windows.
Correct.
All right. And Mr. Nichols said, hey, I can't roll down the windows, and open the door to comply.
Correct.
All right. And then Mr. Nichols was asked for identification.
Correct.
He explained that he didn't have any.
Correct.
Up until this point, Mr. Nichols is being cooperative with you, fair?
He was.
Now, inside of the vehicle, you listed some passengers, 3 black males.
Including the driver.
Including the driver, 1 black female.
Correct.
And a child.
Correct.
All right, so at this point, after Mr. Nichols explains that he does not have his identification, he's detained.
Correct.
He's taken back to the patrol car,
Yes.
right? And you're with him in the patrol car.
Yes.
All right, so Officer Owen spoke to Nichols, but you took Mr. Nichols to the patrol car, correct?
Correct.
All right, and you asked Mr. Nichols for his identifying information, correct?
Yes.
And he gave it to you.
He did.
He gave you his real name, correct?
Yes.
All right. Now, while you were in the car, there was another officer with you, Officer Chisholm.
Correct.
Is that correct? And Officer Chisholm, from your understanding, separated the female passenger from her child and the other occupants in the car, correct?
She asked her to step out.
Yes, and she had a private conversation.
Yes.
One that you weren't privy to.
That is correct.
Okay, let me ask you about that. Body cameras, it was body footage of this traffic stop, right?
Yes.
Okay, and body footage lasts for 5 years,
Depending on the case, yes.
depending on the case. But in this case, the body camera footage was supposed to be retained for 5 years, correct?
Correct.
All right, so when this case was originally indicted May 9th of 2022, and remember, this incident happened July 3rd of 17. That was within the 5 years.
Correct.
Did you receive any type of notification or instruction from the government to say, hey, retain this body camera footage?
I did not.
Do you know if any other members of the FIT team, and this is just to your knowledge, do you know if they were told, hey, retain this footage?
To my knowledge, no.
All right, so the car was searched.
Yes.
And you have testified that you found some pills, correct?
Yes.
2 pills, and that you found 2 baggies of some type of solid substance.
Correct.
And you have testified suspected substance because you don't know, right? You're not the GBI.
Correct.
You didn't test these things.
No.
All right. Now, several individuals were arrested, right? All of the adult passengers.
Correct.
All right, let's talk about that a little bit. Miss Pierre, she was the registered owner of the car, correct? All right. And Miss Pierre was arrested that day for the suspected 2 baggies, right?
Correct.
All right, so she was arrested for trafficking with that. She was also arrested for the pills.
Correct.
Okay. And she was also arrested of a drug-related object, right?
That is correct.
Okay. All right, and Mr. Norman Harris, he was arrested, correct? All right, and Mr. Harris, he was arrested for the pills, right?
He was.
And he was arrested for trafficking in illegal drugs, correct?
He was.
All right. And Mr. Harris was later, from your understanding, was later indicted for the firearm, but you did not arrest him for possession of a firearm, correct?
From the information that I've gathered since, correct.
All right. And so that was not your decision to arrest Mr. Harris for the firearm, correct?
Correct.
All right. So that would have had to be the prosecution. You had nothing to do with that.
That was not my charges.
All right. And Brandon Warren, he was arrested.
He was.
Let's talk about that briefly. Mr. Warren was arrested for trafficking.
He was.
So that's the 2 baggies, right? And Mr. Norman was arrested for the suspected pills.
He was.
All right. And Mr. Norman was also arrested for the drugs in a different container, correct?
You said Mr. Norman that time.
Mr. Warren.
Yes.
Okay. And Mr. Warren was also arrested for possession of a firearm.
He was.
Okay. And then Mr. Nichols was arrested.
He was.
Okay. Now, officer, let me ask you this. You did not arrest Mr. Nichols for anything gang-related, correct?
I did not.
You did not. And you did not arrest any of the individuals in this vehicle with any gang charges, right?
I did not.
Okay. And you wrote a report in this case.
I did.
And you're trained to write reports.
Correct.
And you're trained that if you need to supplement a report, that you can supplement a report, correct?
That is correct.
All right. And you're trained on how to write an affidavit for a warrant, correct? And you are trained to how to write a citation, correct? All right. So in this case, you wrote pretty much the list that I just gave you, right?
That is correct.
All right. And in any of the reports or any of the lists that I just gave you, you did not report anything in reference to any type of gang activity with this traffic stop, correct?
I did not.
All right. And you didn't report anything in reference to any type of gang activity in reference to what you seized, correct?
Correct.
All right. So gang just wasn't mentioned, correct? All right. All right, just a few more questions. You're aware that Norman Harris pled guilty to possession of a firearm in the drugs, correct?
I was not aware, no.
You were not aware of that. Okay. Ms. Pierre, you testified that she was the owner of the car. I want to make sure that I have that correct, right?
That is correct.
And you're aware that Ms. Pierre pled to the alleged drugs found in the vehicle?
I was not aware.
Okay.
Why is everybody
All right, I have no further questions. Thank you.
Anybody else? Say that again, right?
Yes, briefly. The location of Donnelly and Cameron, is that in Fulton County?
It is.
And as relates to the body cam, were you ever asked to look for the body?
I was.
Okay. And did it come a point in time years ago, was that body cam produced?
Well, I myself was not asked until recently.
Okay. So you were asked to go locate the body cam.
Correct.
And what is the policy as it relates to body cam footage for a traffic stop such as this with the Atlanta Police Department?
Sure, a traffic stop or any of the rest, the body camera footage has a retention period of 5 years.
And let me ask this, as a FIT officer, do you generally take out gang wars or that's assigned to another?
That's assigned to another unit.
Okay. And why is that?
Because typically officers and investigators assigned to the gang unit have a better understanding of gangs. Myself in that position in my career, like any other patrol officers, we don't generally have that much knowledge when it comes to the gang.
get out of there.
Well, you have, she opened the doors to us, so.
So officers have the option to take outside training. They can go and get more information about gangs. At that stage of my career, that's not where I was. Since then, I've gained that, but at that time of the stop, I did not have that knowledge.
And that responsibility goes to them if they want to take out games.
That is correct.
Anybody that has something to do with YSL is traveling. Rich homie Quan got away.
Sergeant Minato.
Quan got away, boy. Right out the hell.
If you would have observed what you thought was gang activity on July 3rd, 2017, you would have reported it, correct?
If I would have had the knowledge of it, yes.
No further questions.
Sure. So why did you record it?
All right.
Sergeant Maldonado, good afternoon, sir.
Afternoon.
Sergeant Maldonado, you are familiar with APD SOP 3067 gang data reporting?
Not off the top of my head, no.
Okay. So if I showed you the document, do you think it would refresh your recollection?
I'm not sure if I've read that particular SOP.
Are you gonna show it to him, sir?
Yeah, Protron.
I would object to he not aware of it.
He said it, I think he stated that if he saw it, he may or may not be aware of it.
He said, I'm not sure if I read that particular SOP.
So perhaps if I could show it to him, see if he's read it.
That's fine.
This is crazy, man. They playing with these guys' freedom, man.
May I approach this witness, Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
Sergeant, I'm showing you this document for your review.
Yes, sir.
To refresh your recollection as it relates to your understanding
Of that particular SOP as a veteran with the Atlanta Police Department.
So this particular SOP, it does not ring a bell to me, no, sir.
So then it doesn't ring a bell, but as an Atlanta Police Department officer, you then don't know or have not been familiar with the fact that responding officers have a responsibility to collect and record any evidence that tends to indicate gang involvement.
Through regular training, but as far as reading that in the SOP, no, sir.
Okay. Are you required as a sergeant with APD to be familiar and abreast of the various SOPs within your agency?
I am.
And this one you're not?
That is correct.
Okay. No further questions.
Can I see the SOP for a moment? And did you admit it?
You said, is this gonna be identified? 2 seconds.
Oh. I didn't know if anybody, I need to look.
They need them charges dropped.
I'm going to, I didn't know if it was my turn to question.
Are you finished, Mr. Matthews?
Yes, I am.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
This incident we refer to as in what year?
2017.
All right, I'm going to show you DH1. What year is this SOP?
It's not in there.
Overrule the objection, Mr. Steele.
What year was that? What's the year of that?
It shows the effective date is August 13th of 2020.
So this is after this stop right here.
Objection meeting.
Was this after the stop?
It was.
They can get that dropped if they're not gang activity. They gonna carry that on.
We'll need a copy of that, Mr. Matthews.
Sergeant Naldo, may I just follow up, follow up? Sergeant Naldo, the fact that you're not familiar with this particular SOP, you don't know when it was initially put in place, correct?
We gonna carry that on.
Nothing further.
Again, Mr. Matthews, can you give us a copy of that?
Yes, sir.
Please give that to Mr. Weaver, please.
Yes, sir.
Anything further?
No, I'm saying.
All right. May we permanently, temporarily excuse Sergeant Maldonado.
Permanently.
All right, so Sergeant Maldonado, thank you for your patience with us.
Thank you.
Permanently excuse you. We'll discuss
They
your
gonna carry that
testimony.
in, gang.
Accept the attorneys in this case, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, sir. Call your next witness, ma'am.
Your Honor, prior to that, can we take a brief break? I just want to show Ms. Westmore.
Would you like me to recess in place?
Sure.
Okay, all right.
Ms. Westmore.
Ross? Once you get there, if you would turn and face Sergeant Ingram, be sworn as a witness before you sit down.
Raise your right hand. Swear affirm the testimony you give the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
I do.
Have a seat. State your first and last name for the prosecutor.
First name Charles, Charles. Last name Ross, Ross.
And Sergeant Ross, where are you employed?
I'm sorry.
Where are you employed?
I'm currently employed with the City of Atlanta Police Department
And how long have you been with the City of Atlanta Police Department?
for about 11 years now.
And what do you do with the City of Atlanta Police Department?
Currently, I'm a sergeant in the Zone 2 area,
And how long have you served as a sergeant?
approximately 4 months.
If you can tell the jury briefly about your career with the Atlanta Police Department.
So I started my career in 2012. 2013, I was sworn in as an officer. Spent time in the Zone 5 area, which encompasses this courthouse, as well as most of the downtown area, before going to Zone 1, which is the Bankhead area. I spent about 3 years in patrol before I was moved over to the Apex unit, which is a proactive unit that's citywide. We target violent offenders and other individuals engaged in lower level narcotics and various other smaller crimes. We also do warrant entries for individuals that may be barricaded or for narcotic seizures. I spent about 3 years in that assignment before I was then promoted to investigator and assigned to the robbery unit. I spent about 3 years in the robbery unit handling citywide robberies throughout the city before I was promoted, well, not promoted, but moved to the city's Homeland Security and Cyber Crimes unit. Spent about a year there working in that capacity where we were responding to threats throughout the city that may have been related to like the Georgia Dome or various threats made to individuals throughout the city. I was recently promoted to sergeant and assigned to Zone 2.
And are you
That nigga, you had informants.
I'm going to take you to October 23rd, 2018. What unit were you assigned with APD?
2013. 2018, I would have been assigned to the Apex unit.
And you spoke briefly about what the Apex unit did. Tell the jury about your job and responsibilities.
Okay, so under the current command over there, we were assigned to a specific zone. Each day we would go out to that zone and try to locate violent offenders that had outstanding warrants or make proactive stops and arrests based on probable cause as far as violent crimes, narcotics, and various other incidents.
And
But they won't admit they was targeted, my guy.
to kind of stop these types of crimes, were there any investigations or in order to assist you on identifying the target
You
crime
let that
locations?
money get to him.
Yes,
allegedly.
Also saying this to form, you can rephrase.
Did you use any investigative tools?
yes, one of those tools being social media.
And why was social media helpful for you all?
To me, social media was like a huge impact. It was a way to reach out and, find a lot of the individuals because most times when you have investigations, they will tag or associate individuals that they have some type of.
I'll stand as to form. You can rephrase.
I think that was Mr. Steele.
Yeah, it was Mr. Steele. And Ms. Westmoreland.
In your experience, in using that social media tool? What did you find worse?
I found that individuals tag other individuals that they partake in criminal activity.
Wow.
With.
I say with?
Yes.
With what?
Like they participate in criminal activity with.
Oh, who they?
Yes.
Sir. Okay.
They keep going in huddles and shit. Oh, they huddles and shit. They know they wrong. The DA know they didn't back it up right. Pray the feds don't jump into this, man. Hope he beats his drum correctly. Nobody gonna try to win their way. Look at him. I don't know what this huddle about right now. Dude, we don't even know.
Now, this was through my friend. Now, when you were just speaking about some things you saw that was purported criminal activity, you don't know, you haven't, it was purported criminal activity.
Yes.
Okay. Taking you to October 23rd, 2018, did you have the occasion to interact with Cornelius Nichols?
I did.
All right. Prior to interacting with him, had you seen him previously?
Yes, via social media.
And where on social media did you see him?
Instagram. On an Instagram page that I believe to be associated with Mr. Nichols.
Okay. And why did you believe that social media page to be associated with him?
After reviewing the page, he had various photos of himself on the page, as well as he posted video stories that encompass, Well, I'm sorry.
Faces? He doesn't know. Lack of foundation, speculation, relevance. He doesn't know who's supposed to be. The foundation is
I'm
not.
gonna sustain the objection.
Was an individual who appeared to be a Cornelius Nichols in those videos.
Yes.
Not knowing who posted it, but was he in the video?
Not knowing who posted it, Mr. Nichols was in the videos.
And was it on the page believed to be Mr. Nichols?
Yes.
Okay. And did that page have a name?
Yes,
Okay. And I guess was that like an Instagram handle?
it was.
Okay. What was that Instagram handle?
The Instagram handle was Bitch, It's Quay.
Okay.
Qua, I don't know how you pronounce it.
And is that BITCHITSQUA?
Yes.
All right. And did that person who you interacted with on October 23rd, 2018, did that appear to be him
Yes.
on those videos?
I'm over with objection now.
I think my first question was, did you interact with him on that day?
Yes.
All right. And did that appear to be the same individual in the video?
Yes.
All right.
So that's the young boy that had the gas in his hand.
Tell me, how did you see Mr. Nichols
That
on
is
social
story.
media on October 23rd, 2018, or a video of Mr. Nichols on that day?
Yes.
All right. Tell me,
Like
how did you
said,
come to see
he was
that
cool in a
social
red
media
bag,
video?
I believe.
Well, I looked on Instagram and I noticed that there was a story attached to Mr. Nichols' page. After pressing the story, it began to display the video.
Okay. And I know what the story is. Maybe our viewers all know the story, but when you say story, what are you referring to?
I got you. So Instagram has like a mini video feature where around the icon of a person's profile photo, they can attach videos throughout the day of various things. It could be sports, it can be, actual videos that they took of themselves. All kinds of things can be posted to this story, and I think it's retained for like 24 hours, or unless they delete it.
And what time generally did you get to work back in 2018? What time was your shift?
Depending on the call, it would have been between 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock, and I would have got off around 10 o'clock or midnight.
We fixed that time.
And
They didn't
what,
say that
if
last time.
anything, did you see on this Instagram story?
So once the Instagram story began to play, I saw the male that I believed to be Mr. Nichols at the time before actually meeting him. He was inside of a vehicle. It appeared to be a Chevy, gray in color. He was sitting inside the passenger seat of that vehicle. Next to him was a red bag.
They be watching on his Instagram, man. Y'all niggas gotta pay attention, man. A lot of y'all not paying attention to this stuff too. See, they know he switched the story up. He didn't say that last time. He added. What they gonna do, man? This judge, man, he got a lot of paperwork on his hands. A lot on this judge's hands, man. I don't know.
The objection's overruled. Go ahead.
No.
What did you see on the video?
Oh, okay. As the video began to play, there was a male I suspected to be Mr. Nichols sitting inside the driver's seat of the Chevy. It was a gray in color Chevy. The door was open. He had a red bag that I could see like in the background, and what appeared to be in his hand was suspected marijuana. He was twirling it up in the bag while talking to some individuals outside the vehicle. One being an older lady, making statements as like she won't. That the older lady wanted a young nigga
because the girl was
and Clay.
Last time he said it was a nigga.
Hello, can you hear me? I got you. Starting right back over. I observed the male that I believe to be Mr. Nichols sitting in the driver's seat of the Chevy. He had what appeared to be a red bag in the background. He had a small bag of marijuana that was being twirled in his fingers while engaging in conversation with individuals outside the vehicle. One individual, being an older female, which the conversation went to the effect of Auntie want her a young nigga, and Quay trying to be a victim. Then you can see Mr. Nichols say, I'm trying to be a victim, before the video cut off. Oh, I'm sorry. And also in the background behind the older lady was the lady was a two-wheel white vehicle in color.
And about how long was this
video? No longer than 30 seconds.
And once you saw that video, what, if anything, did you do?
I immediately called a team together to further investigate. That would require me, reaching out over radio or calling people or something, and letting them know a staging location in regards to what I had just witnessed. Those individuals would have met me at that staging location. I would advise them, or maybe even show them the video of what I saw, and gave them all the information on what we were going in to do, and who we were looking for, and what we were looking for, and then we would proceeded to the location. I would also make my sergeant aware, and K9.
And 2612 Steel, can you tell Drew where's that location?
2612 Steel is in the Cleveland Avenue corridor. It runs right off of Cleveland Avenue. The driveway may be from where I'm sitting just out into the hallway, from the actual street of Cleveland Avenue to the entrance of the apartment complex.
Were you able to make contact with officers in setting a staging location?
I was.
Where was that staging location?
The staging location was at I'm not sure if it was open, but it used to be the Piggly Wiggly. It's right across the street, off of Cleveland Avenue.
And once you met with officers at the staging location, did you give them instruction as you just discussed?
I did.
All right. What happened next?
Then we would all caravan over to the location and begin our investigation.
And did you all go over to that location?
Yes.
Tell the jury what occurred as you were going over to that location.
So as we made our approach, upon turning or crossing over the street, since it was literally across the street, I heard an individual yell out 12, which is slang.
Basis.
I'll rephrase this to the form. You can lay a little more foundation, madam.
Let me ask you this. Were you all in patrol vehicles?
We were.
And were they marked patrol vehicles?
Yes, ma'am.
And the term 12, what does that mean?
What
was your understanding?
I'll overrule the objection.
What is your understanding of what 12 means?
12 is slang for police.
Okay. And in your experience, have you heard individuals yell out 12 previously?
Yes.
And in your experience, when someone yells out 12, what happens?
Individual that's engaged in criminal activity, that gives them like a...
I'll sustain this to form. All right, you can rephrase, madam.
Right.
I'll strike the last point, ladies and gentlemen, just disregard the criminal activity issue.
When you heard 12, did you hear someone yell out 12?
I did.
When you heard 12, in this case, what occurred? What did you see?
Upon entering the actual apartment and making the turn, I was able to see the suspected vehicle, which was a small Chevy, and a white vehicle still sitting next to it. As we made our way to progress, this is only in seconds as well. As we made our way to progress to the parking lot, I noticed that the door for the Chevy was locked remotely, causing the horn and stuff to beep, and the lights to actually flash to signify that the vehicle is locked. And then we made our approach to the white Toyota Solara.
And with 12, in your training experience, is that an alert that police are coming?
Yes.
I'll overrule the objection.
Yes.
Once you got inside and you saw the gray vehicle with the lights click on and off, what happened once you got closer to the vehicle?
Once I got closer to the vehicles, I
I then exited my patrol vehicle. As soon as I began to exit my patrol vehicle, I smelled the smell of burning marijuana. I then began asking individuals outside, like, hey, who has the weed? Where's the marijuana at? I then made my way over in between the two vehicles that I saw or believed to see in the Instagram photo, and where I encountered Mr. Nichols. I asked them, did they have any marijuana, because it seemed like the smell was coming from within the vehicle. I then detained Mr. Nichols and the passengers in the vehicle, as well as the individuals standing around the gray Chevy.
So let's slow that down a little bit.
Yeah,
When
because you
you
moved a little too
approached
fast.
the gray vehicle that you saw in the video with Mr. Nichols,
What did you do? What did you
was
say?
there anyone in that vehicle?
No, that vehicle was empty.
All right. And you said that he was in another vehicle. Where was that vehicle?
He was in a Toyota Solara that was parked maybe like 4 feet away. He was in like the door frame, sitting on like the where you step out of the vehicle. That he was sitting right there, leaning over towards a female passenger or driver.
Now, in the door frame, was he on the driver's side or the passenger side?
He was on the driver's side.
Okay, and was the driver's side of the Solara, what color was the Solara?
Solara was white.
Was the driver's side closer to the driver's side of the gray vehicle?
Yes.
Okay. And describe, was the gray vehicle pointing back in?
So the gray vehicle was back then facing, if somebody was about to leave the parking lot, facing to leave out, and the white Solara was parked facing the actual apartment. So they were facing opposite directions.
And Mr. Nichols was crouched in between the door frames?
Yes.
All right. Where, you said there were two seatbelts in the vehicle?
Yes.
He was
where were they seated?
Both in the front passenger seats. Well, front seats. One was in the driver's seat. The second female was in the passenger seat.
When you first approached, did you see any type of keys or anything that goes to the gray vehicle?
No, not upon my immediate approach.
So once you approached, you said you smelled burning marijuana. What happened?
I detained everybody and then began my search of the vehicle for the actual marijuana. The white Toyota Solara. I began to notice small crumbs, or what is referred to as shake, of marijuana throughout the vehicle on the floorboard. Upon walking around to the passenger side of the vehicle where the other young lady was sitting, I noticed a blunt of marijuana sitting on the ground outside, just outside of the door of that vehicle.
Now, once you noticed the marijuana on the passenger side of the door, what happened next?
I then collect that marijuana. I believe I got IDs from everyone, and check those IDs on our system.
Okay. Once you checked the IDs, what happened next?
I then walked back and I took my flashlight, peered inside of the gray vehicle, and got an update from K9, who was already en route, as to how long it would take them to get out there to continue my investigation on which I initially came for, the gray Chevy vehicle.
And why did you call K9?
Because that's a normal practice. Whenever I have like a suspicion of some type of drug investigation, I have them come out to assist, as well as another resource in identifying and locating where possible drugs may be in that crime scene.
As you waited for the K9 to come, did you ever locate a key for the gray vehicle?
I did. So upon that initial search, where I noticed the shake, there was the center console. I lifted up the center console and located blunt spray and what appeared to be a Chevy key. The blunt spray is, I think, significant because I began.
Basis.
I sustained the crime.
In your knowledge and experience, why is blunt spray significant?
Objection after relevance.
I'll overrule the objection. Lay some more foundation. Blunt spray. I'm sorry.
In your investigation, have you heard of blunt spray?
Yes.
Okay. And in your experience as an officer, what does blunt spray do?
It's a fragrance used to mask the odor of marijuana, hence, or any other type of scent that may be overpowering your vehicle.
Okay. And as you're investigating, you found some blunt spray?
Yes.
All right. What else?
I located the key for the Chevy, and that was all.
Where was that key located?
It was inside the center console of that Toyota Solara.
And was that center console, was the door open or closed?
I believe it was closed, now opened it.
Once you saw the key, what did you do?
I stepped away from the vehicle. I believe I asked the individuals if the key belonged to them. I believe so. All this happened around the same time.
And did anyone take ownership of that key?
No.
Basis.
No hearsay.
I sustain the question. Just rephrase it.
Did Mr. Nichols take ownership of the key?
No.
Did you speak with any of the individuals out there that
I did. Miranda as the owner of the vehicle.
Basis.
This is about the hearsay violation of Mr. Nichols' competition clause of the United States Constitution and the Georgia Constitution.
All right, okay.
Your Honor, this is not testimony nor the
I'll overrule the
confrontation.
objection, Ms. Westmoreland.
Go ahead.
I'm Miranda as Ms. Jessica Lindy, who's the owner of the white Toyota Solara. She then waived her right to counsel, meaning she didn't want a lawyer. She spoke with me and she agreed to speak to me at that time. I then asked her, where the keys came from. She stated that she did not know where the keys came from. She doesn't know how the keys got into her vehicle. She advised that she was looking at her cell phone when I guess when we arrived and did not notice when anybody would have placed that key in her vehicle, as well as she did not notice when anybody.
I'm going to overrule the objection. And I know the continuing objection, we've already dealt with this issue.
She also mentioned that she doesn't know who would have used that key fob to possibly lock the Chevy next to their vehicle.
So at this point, no one claimed ownership to that key at that point in time?
No, ma'am.
All right. Did K9 ever arrive?
K9 did arrive.
Okay. What happened once the K9 came?
I believe Officer Cornelius, I gave him a rundown of what happened, or I asked him, did he have the general gist of while we were out here, what was going on? He then deployed his K9 and allowed his K9 to conduct an investigation around the general area before being led to the gray the gray Chevrolet, and the dog began to nibble at the door handle and then jump up and scratch the door, which at that point he notified me that the dog had alerted on the.
I sustain it, sir, currently.
What happened after the K9 came out?
Officer Cornelius conducted an investigation and advised me that the dog alerted.
Did you get a search warrant?
I did.
Okay. When
I sustain the objection.
when did you get the search warrant?
Immediately, within a few minutes after, finding out that it's possibly narcotics in the vehicle.
Once you got the search warrant, did you come back?
I did.
Did you search the vehicle?
I did.
What, if anything, did you find?
Approximately 17 grams of marijuana, baggies, which are consistent with or indicative of the crime of.
Basis.
Lack of foundation.
Right, he's an officer.
I overrule the objection, Ms. Westmoreland.
And baggies which are indicative of the crime of possession with intent to distribute, as well as a digital scale, I believe, and 3 firearms were located throughout the vehicle.
And let me ask you this. The video, the Instagram video, did you download that video?
I did.
And as well as this incident in its entirety, was it recorded? Did you have body cam video?
It was.
And was the entire incident recorded on body cam?
The incident was recorded on body cam?
Both the first part as well as the search warrant?
Yes, my initial investigation as well as the search of the vehicle.
And have you had an opportunity to review both the Instagram video as well as the body cam footage for this incident?
I have.
You have permission to approach. I'm showing you what's the mark that states Exhibit 68I. Do you recognize Exhibit 68I?
I do.
How do you recognize it?
It was the evidence shown to me to verify that it was true, accurate depiction of the events that occurred on that day.
In the 68, I include the Instagram video as well as the body image.
Yes, ma'am.
And does it appear there are any addition or deletion of those videos?
No, ma'am.
Your Honor, this time still like the 26 and 68 items of evidence.
Any additional objections, madam?
This testimony.
That you haven't otherwise told me already?
Well, slightly different. The video itself has not been authenticated, and no foundation has been laid for the video itself.
Yeah, I have a response.
All right, what's your supposed to say response?
It is authenticated because of him viewing it himself. It's like a picture. If he can view the individual in the video and believe it to be that person in the video, it is authenticated. We don't have to bring in the person who posted the video.
Overruled, madam. Okay, what else?
Your Honor, maybe we approach somebody.
All right. Your angry eyes? Okay. Press the button. Okay. Hold on.
They just keep huddling up.
Yes, you may continue, madam.
Sergeant Ron.
Yes, ma'am.
The Instagram video that you watched, does that appear to be that same clip that you saw on the day of, prior to going over to the 26 Field Avenue?
Are you?
The Instagram video that's on that exhibit.
Yes.
Does that appear to be the video clip that you saw that led you to 2612 Field?
Yes.
And is that the same video that you downloaded and then gave to us?
Yes.
At this time, say like.
Has it been changed or altered in any way from the time period that you downloaded it to today, sir?
No, Your Honor.
All right.
At this time, say like 26 and 68.
Any further objection, Ms. Westmoreland?
Continuing objection.
I'll mark a continuing objection and admit over your objection. You may. How long is it going to take?
Yes, it's probably about in total 35.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, how about we take a little comfort break, let you stretch, and all right.
Corridor. It runs right off of Cleveland Avenue. The driveway may be from where I'm sitting just out into the hallway, from the actual street of Cleveland Avenue to the entrance of the apartment complex.
Were you able to make contact with officers when you started the staging location?
I was.
Where was that staging location?
The staging location was at I'm not sure if it was open, but it used to be the Piggly Wiggly. It's right across the street off of Cleveland Avenue.
And once you met with officers at the staging location, did you give them instruction as you just discussed?
I did.
What happened next?
Then we would all caravan over to the location and begin our investigation.
And did you all go over to that location?
Yes.
Tell the jury what occurred as you were going over to that location.
So as we made our approach upon, turning or crossing over the street, since it was literally across the street, I heard an individual yell out 12, which is slang.
Basis.
I'll rephrase this to the form. You can lay a little more foundation, madam.
Let me ask you this. Were you all in patrol vehicles?
We were.
And were they marked patrol vehicles?
Yes, ma'am.
And the term 12, what's that mean?
It's
What
slang.
was your understanding?
I'll overrule the objection.
What is your understanding of 12?
12 is slang for police.
And in your experience, have you heard individuals yell out 12 previously?
Yes.
And in your experience, when someone yells out 12, what happened?
Individuals that's engaged in criminal activity, that gives them like a...
I'll sustain this to form. All right, you can rephrase, madam. I'll strike the last one, ladies and gentlemen, just disregard the criminal activity issue.
When you heard 12, did you hear someone yell out 12?
I did.
When you heard 12, in this case, what occurred? What did you see?
Upon entering the actual apartment and making the turn, I was able to see the suspected vehicle, which was a small Chevy, and a white vehicle still sitting next to it. As we made our way to progress, this is only in seconds as well, as we made our way to progress through the parking lot, I noticed that the door for the Chevy was locked remotely, causing the horn and stuff to beep, and the lights to actually flash to, signify that the vehicle is locked. And then we made our approach to the white Toyota Solara.
And with 12, in your training experience, is that an alert that police are coming?
Yes.
I'll overrule the objection.
Yes. Yes.
Once you got inside and you saw the gray vehicle, the lights click on and off, what happened once you got closer to the vehicle?
Once I got closer to the vehicles, I then exited my patrol vehicle. As soon as I began to exit my patrol vehicle, I smelled the smell of burning marijuana. I then began asking individuals outside, like, hey, who has the weed? Where's the marijuana at? I then made my way over in between the two vehicles that I saw or believed to see in the Instagram photo, and where I encountered Mr. Nichols. I asked them, did they have any marijuana, because it seemed like the smell was coming from within the vehicle. I then detained Mr. Nichols and the passengers in the vehicle, as well as the individuals standing around the gray Chevy.
So let's slow that down a little bit. When you approached the gray vehicle that you saw in the video with Mr. Nichols, was there anyone in there?
No, that vehicle was empty.
All right. And you said
Why you go in
he was
it?
in another vehicle. Where was that vehicle?
He was in a Toyota Solara that was parked maybe like 4 feet away. He was in like the door frame, sitting on like the where you step out of the vehicle. He was sitting right there, leaning over towards a female passenger or driver.
Told you to go in it.
Was he on the driver's side or the passenger side?
He was on the driver's side.
Okay, and was the driver's side of the Solara, what color was the Solara?
Solara was white, two-door.
Right, two-door. Was the driver's side closer to the driver's side of the gray vehicle?
Yes.
Okay. And describe, was the gray vehicle pointed back in?
So the gray vehicle was back then facing, if somebody was about to leave the parking lot, facing to leave out, and the white Solara was parked facing the actual apartment. So they were facing opposite directions.
And Mr. Nichols was propped in between the door.
Yes.
All right. Where, you said there were two females in the vehicle?
Yes.
Okay, where were they seated?
Both in the front passenger seats. Well, front seats. One was in the driver's seat. The second female was in the passenger seat.
When you first
So you just
approached,
went at
did
the
you
nigga.
see any type of keys or anything that goes to the gray vehicle?
No, not upon my immediate approach.
So once you said you smell
Yes,
her
you
and
did. As
marijuana,
soon
what
as you
happened?
hopped out.
I detained everybody and began my search of the vehicle for the actual marijuana.
Which vehicle did you
The white Toyota Solara. I began to notice small crumbs or what is referred to as shake of marijuana throughout the vehicle on the floorboard. Upon walking around to the passenger side of the vehicle where the other young
What are
lady
you
was
reading the
sitting, I
pamphlet?
noticed a blunt of marijuana sitting on the ground outside, just outside of the door of that vehicle.
Now, once you notice the marijuana on the passenger side door, what happened?
I didn't collect that marijuana. I
I'm
believe I got
confused with them
IDs
niggas
from
can't
everyone
blow at
and
all.
checked those IDs on our system.
Once you check the IDs, what happened then?
I then walked back and I took my flashlight, peered inside of the gray vehicle, and got an update from K9, who was already en route, as to how long it would take them to get out there to continue my investigation, on which I initially came for the gray Chevy vehicle.
And why did you call K9?
Because that's a normal practice. Whenever I have like a suspicion of some type of drug investigation, I have them come out to assist, as well as another resource in identifying and locating where possible drugs may be in that crime scene.
As you waited for the K9 to come, did you ever locate a key for the gray vehicle?
I did. So upon that initial search, where I noticed the shake, there was the center console. I lifted up the center console and located blunt spray and what appeared to be a Chevy key. The blunt spray.
It's getting dark.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, please be seated.
These guys are just so unpredictable. Really feeling it.
All right, thank you, Sergeant Ingram. All right, Ms. Hilton, when we left off, I think you're getting prepared to play Exhibit 68I for the jury. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, you may publish it this time.
Auntie right here, talking about she want her a young nigga, and Quay right here Quay right here trying to get in. Auntie saying she want her a young nigga. Man, Shorty, man, my boy, man, I got part of
The drug transaction looked like allegedly.
All right, Sergeant Ross. Now,
Auntie right here, talking about she want her a young nigga, and Quay right here.
is that the individual that you saw us play when you were watching the video?
Yes, ma'am.
And that stopped at 68 I at 3 seconds?
He trying, Quay right here trying to get in. Auntie saying she want her a young nigga. Man, Shorty, man, my boy, man, I got part of them.
And looking here, is that inside the vehicle?
Yes, ma'am.
And is that what vehicle is that?
That's ended up being the Chevy Sun.
And when you look at the side of the vehicle, do you see a red object?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I believe you may be able to, on your screen, circle where you see the red object. Tap that. See that corner? Yeah. And press the pen. All right. And circle where you see the red object. And initially, when you saw the video, did you know what was in that object? mean, what was in that bag?
No, ma'am.
All right. And I'm just gonna go back, and that stopped at 15 seconds and 60.68I.
Play right here, trying to get in.
Really got the video of that nigga.
Can you see what's inside of his pen?
Briefly, is what I saw is what I believe to be suspected marijuana.
And where do you see what you believe to be the suspected marijuana?
If you could go back, but it's right there in the thing.
I'm gonna text you this video.
Video dark.
Oh, the objection. Since you have two circles on the video, can you distinguish or cause one to go away?
Okay. So this is the eraser. This is the second.
Okay.
That's it.
And then, okay, there we go.
So you erase this one and then draw a new one?
Yes.
Okay.
Let me go back to the pen. And again, this is that initial video. This is that initial video that you saw.
Yes, ma'am.
You're right. That, of course, I'll play the second exhibit.
On the CD, excuse me.
Continuing objection.
Yes, ma'am. So noted.
And y'all are gonna fast forward.
Bad jump. Dang it. That looked like his hands.
Is that the picture?
Yes, ma'am.
That don't look like no weed.
And right now, where are you driving? What street are we looking at?
We're facing Cleveland Avenue is running to the left and to the right. Directly across the street is Steel Avenue.
Like these cops crazy. They wanted Thugger.
And this one is sound to your 5 minutes.
No, so the sound started at 2 minutes.
Fellas, what's going on? Who got the weed over here? Nobody? Yeah, it's coming from right here. I ain't crazy. You don't smoke no weed? How about you, man? But it's coming from right here. Do me a favor, I'm going to detain you, man. Step up. Step
He
up.
detained him for the
Step up.
gun
This
bag.
whole area smell like weed, so we're going to detain all y'all. If I can search you, that's fine. We'll get to that. I'm not locking you up. Listen to me. I'm detaining you.
Your Honor.
I'm detaining you. Detaining you means
Yes, I have an
That's
objection.
Continue
objection,
gun
Well,
bag.
just
we haven't all taken up already?
further hearsay objection.
Overruled
Right,
objection.
thank you.
Okay.
you're not going to jail. You're not under arrest right now. You got me? You understand? All right. Hold him tight. Ma'am, anything in the vehicle I need to know about? You mind stepping out of the vehicle? How about you, Miss Lady?
He
It's
jumped
your
right
car.
at him.
It's our car. Okay.
William Robert Baker. William Robert.
I got him detained. It's a blunt right here on the ground. On the ground, and some shake all in this car, in one of the cars over here.
Real quick, William Robert Baker, 27 Chevy Code, 28 Baker, email border 63 hours later. You on the ramp? Hey, yeah. What's where you pull out? What's the purpose? How much you ready to live?
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Extra doors. I was like, somebody told me it was in the car. Like somebody told me.
Hey, Corn, whoever that was, answer. What's your ETA out here?
15 minutes.
You talking about Canaan?
Yeah.
Yeah, we should be out there in about 10 minutes.
I copy.
Cross y'all, is that 2612 still?
Yeah.
You know that's too.
Well, I got 3. It's another group of guys, about 4
whoa,
more guys that's
just
not in handcuffs
time.
standing out around here. As soon as we pulled in, they locked the door on the car.
As soon as he came out, got that on his hand.
Oh, boy. Oh, y'all got ID on y'all? Anytime you see I'm stuff. Can I take you? Nah, you got hang tight right here. You ain't got no ID? You got a name? Come on. Walk over here with me.
He try to act like he fell though. Whole time he watching name on Instagram.
You got a license? Never had one? From what? From prison? Okay. Spell it for me. Last name. Nichholls. First name. Qumarvious. What's your birthday?
Excuse me, Your Honor, may we approach?
Already spelled his name.
Is it about a new issue, madam, or anything?
They know what he did. And draw it. What are they talking about every 10 minutes? Every 10 minutes.
All right, you may continue, madam.
They just keep holding on.
What you said?
My address is 768 History Avenue, apartment 1.
Okay. That's what you said now?
Yeah, that's my that's sure what I'm interested.
All right, cool.
You just told me you live here. Nah, man, my brother don't stay up down there. Come on, man. I'm making so good.
I mean, why are we making a difference? We told you why we would detain you.
But that's my name, though. That's my name.
I said, okay. I ain't say you were lying to me. Yeah.
No, I was just, why you say you live here?
Yeah, I really wanted to book you.
It's like you got ID. Appreciate it.
You gotta explain that to you. Yeah, they said they don't necessarily have to like the
See how they just put this story together?
Let's see what we're talking about. This one. Yeah, this is a car came out. There's two cars came out. Nobody. Cars? So boy, I think it was getting corner. Yeah, somebody was. Yeah, but no, it wasn't him. And then when I looked down, I saw a guy. I saw his shadow. He was down. So he was running. Yeah. So I don't know. That's why I was trying to get you guys to go. Yeah, we didn't see anybody running. All I saw a couple of guys walking this way, but I don't think they came from here. I think they came from the gas station. So that's why we were.
They won a young boy. It was on his ass from his Instagram post. His story.
Was his son? Yeah. A lot of songs came out. See what we get out of it. Got a little bit of weed right there, but that was it right now. It's shaking their car. What's called it?
All over shaky and
Charter or whatever. So he was just saying because it like didn't want to come in. Chevy.
That's crazy.
Oh, that one? Yes. Yeah. Yeah, he said he'd be in 10 minutes. So.
Yeah, that's not even a Michigan, boy.
Y'all got ID? You got here? You ran it? You got, how old are you? How? You got ID? Never had ID? Okay, come on with me. I'm just for the rain night.
See, when they was in there for a long time, you knew what it was.
Got an extra pound for you. He been entertained, man. He a grown man now. Boy. Yeah. They stuck.
Pace is going up top on the Celtics, bro. Pace is going up top on the Celtics. 105-114.
Stand right here. What's your name, sir? Last name. Spell it. A-R-N-O-L-D. First name. Quaitez. Spell it. Q-U-A-Y. T-E-Z. Date of birth. January 29, 2001. Okay. January what? 29. Where you stay at? 40 Mile Zion. 40 Mile Zion Road. You said you had ID before? Yes. You sure that's your name? Yes. Arnold. A-R-N-O-L-D. First name? Quaitez. Spell it. Q-U-A-Y-T-E-Z. And date of birth is? January 29, 2001. That ain't coming back, man. It was out of Georgia? It was in Georgia. I'm honestly telling the truth. How long ago was that?
Probably
when this, probably like I had got it like when I was 16. Was it ID or was it a license? Like, you know when you go to, like, 7 months you try to get a job, you try to do that, something like that. So you went to the DMV and got an actual ID? Okay. All right, just hang tight.
No, he's Baker, but they want to, I guess she wants to go there, right?
Yeah.
Hey, in there that long on a project that long, you knew somebody going to jail. That's right.
Okay, appreciate it. All right, now they here. I'll talk to them. Y'all got the rundown? Okay. Okay. That was really the only part that was here. Yeah.
Gotta get the rundown.
The blunt and all the blunt, the actual blunts that they broke down right there is proof that we ain't crazy. I know I ain't crazy, man. I smell weed.
Sing
And
on
everybody
the
holler,
phone.
oh, I don't smoke. Okay. Somebody do. Yeah. Just know the changes that you just search me so I can tell. I say it worked out. Exactly.
Sing on the post, bro.
See this winter? You don't like winter?
I like Christmas. That's why I listen.
Because you get gifts.
No, I just like Christmas time.
Oh, okay.
I'm a indie spirit kind of person.
So you decorate?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Full of stockings up and
Oh,
everything.
baby.
I like Florida's Christmas because we don't get real ones.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we're about the short and the
Y'all is
other
on three.
boy. He
Which one
worrying
y'all
about
in?
the young
Y'all in
boy.
three.
They
Y'all in
shit they
four.
post about. You know when people post Instagram posts, that's corny. Go out there and do your job. He taking all day.
Yep.
All this for what?
Oh, yeah. In the front over here on this side.
All this for what?
This your car? Whose keys? Are those your car keys? In the glove compartment.
I don't know where they were going in the drive.
So what do your keys look like? Gotcha. I ain't tight. Say one step back from me, Chief. Appreciate it.
All this for what?
You can have a seat on the ground if you want to. You want to sit right here? Oh, no. Hang tight. just need to read her these. Man, walk with me.
Sure.
What's your name? Jessica what? Jessica Lindley, okay. This right here is a waiver to counsel. It's basically me reading you your rights and you advising that you understand and if you want to speak with me and if you don't want to speak with me. You understand? No, you're not, but you're detained. So in order for me to properly speak with you, I have to read you these rights. Now, you can say you don't want to talk. You can say you do want to talk. It's up to you. It's just what I have to do before I actually can talk to you in depth, okay? Basically, possession of marijuana. Huh? I'm just saying that you just asked him. You just asked me what what we're gonna be talking about. The offense that this will be related to is possession of marijuana. You understand? Okay. So without delay, I'm gonna read this right. Yeah. Stand right there. That's red Everlast. Oh, hey, girl. Yeah, I got it. Hang tight. All right. Right, number one, that I may remain silent and do not have to make any statement at all. Do you understand that? Yes. Okay. I need you to speak a little bit louder. You understand that? Okay. All right. You ain't got to say sir if you don't want to. Right, number two, that any statement I make will be used against me in the court of law. Yes. All right. Three, that I have the right to consult with an attorney before making any statement and to have said attorney present with me while I'm making the statement. Yes. All right. Four, that if I do not have enough money to employ an attorney, I have the right to have one appointed to me by the courts to represent me, to consult with him before making any statement and to have him present while I'm making any statement. Yes. Okay. Five, that if I request an attorney, no questions will be asked of me until an attorney is present to represent me. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I got you. All right. So with all that being read, have you been threatened, forced, or coerced in any type of coerces? Like, have I tricked you or made you say that you want to talk to me? Do you feel like you've been made to talk to me? No. All right. With that being said, would you like to talk to me? Yes. Okay. All right. There are a pair of car keys in your center console right now. They belong to a Chevy. Are those your car keys?
No.
Okay. Whose car keys are those? I'm not sure who the car it is. No, I got you. But who put the car keys in the center console? I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I'm in my own word in my phone. So you don't know who's been in and out of your car? A couple of the boys I like me. I got you. Which one?
Both of them. Watch.
The young man that's detained right
yes,
there.
Mr. Sharp.
With the fatigue pants on.
Yes, hold on. Pause. Basis? Overruled.
You on trap? You're on trapping.
May continue. Overruled.
That was sitting in your car when I got there. Was he? I got you. So he's been in your vehicle today. Okay, got you. Anybody else? Who else? Nobody else has been in besides him, you, and the female that's with you. Oh, this is open gentlemen. My doors were open I pulled up, they stand by the car. But I didn't see nobody putting no keys in mine. You didn't see your console open up or anything. It's broke, so but it was closed. No, I'm saying it's closed. So you have to physically grab it, open it, put whatever you putting it in there, and close it back. I'm telling you, it's broke. It stayed up. Like, you can go check it out. No, I just checked it out. It closed, and when I went to open it, now I can understand that I can put it back into the open, but it don't just open by itself to where you can put keys in there. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Somebody had to physically open it. Yeah. So That's what I'm trying to figure out. Who physically opened some of your car? Gotcha. All right. Have y'all been smoking weed out here? Who was?
Trying to hold that water.
You know, because I'm gonna tell you how you know, right? Because you said I didn't, and then when I said who, you pause. You know who smoked it.
You trying to hold that water.
Yeah, I mean it's illegal, but I mean if I ain't found no weed on them.
It was a gang in my head.
All right, was your friend and your friend and your best friend? Okay, y'all smoke weed?
No.
Nobody in that car was smoking weed.
No.
So why did I find it? I found a blunt right next to where you were sitting at.
Sure.
I found a blunt right next to where you were sitting at.
That's what I'm saying. Like, when we pull out here, they crowd around my car. Like, I can't give you no exact.
But nobody in your car was smoking weed. That's what I'm trying to make sure. Okay.
They was around it. That's why I said when you
Gotcha.
said from that weed, you can't do no weed in my car. They probably.
Well, it's shaking your car, so it's definitely weed in your car at times. And I'm pretty sure, I mean, you know that. I mean, I'm just going out with it. So, I mean, ain't no need in all the cap. So, it's cool. I mean, it plays along into what I'm doing, but you being truthful would help out even more.
I can't give you no, like, exact person.
I got you, but is weed smoked in your vehicle?
Yeah, I have one.
Got you. Is weed in that gray vehicle right there?
I'm not sure. Like,
have you seen anybody?
Been out here long period.
How long have you been out here?
Probably like 30 minutes.
30 minutes. In that 30 minutes, have you seen anybody go to that gray vehicle?
No.
Nobody at all.
Because like I said, when we pull up out here, they crowd around out here.
One more question. Here's the kicker, right? So I came in. When I came in, I looked over at that vehicle. The lights went off to lock that vehicle. The keys for that vehicle are in your car. So somebody in that car locked that car. Somebody in your car locked that car.
Did you ask them who called me?
I asked all y'all. Nobody said nothing, and that's fine, because we're going to get to the bottom of them before we let anybody go out here. But somebody in that car, and you know who locked the car. I mean, it's points. I got you. Well, that's fine.
I never drive my car. But my keys are in this.
You have a license? Who drove your car here? She don't have a license. Oh, man.
She just pulled right here.
No. You can't change it now. See, this is okay. That's the first lie, right? We just trying to get to the bottom of the lies. No, I got you. I believe you don't know who keys they are, but who locked the car is the question. That's all I care about. Who locked the car? And there was somebody in the car with you. So I mean, it don't matter to me. Because I'm going to hold y'all here until I find out what I need to find out. Huh?
I didn't even see y'all.
Oh, I understand that, but I know. Two things I know you heard. You heard somebody holler 12, because they came from there.
Trying to hold that water.
And then you seen somebody lift up the thing, unlock the car. Lock the car and put the keys back down in there.
So it happened right when y'all pulled.
Right when I pulled it. It was perfect. It was like, oh, boom. Why they lock the keys to that car? Then the keys to that car are in your car. So you didn't lock it. You didn't even know they were in there. Cool. All right, you can come on, stand back over here. Let you know you're gonna be here because I gotta go do some paperwork. I'm gonna go swear out a warrant for the vehicle. So just hang tight. All right. Y'all can just hang tight for a minute. I'm gonna go to a precinct and knock out the paperwork. Appreciate it. You ready? You ready? Nobody was in the gray car. They were those three were in this car. When we pulled up, they locked the gray car. The dog done hit on the gray car. The keys for the gray car are in this car. In this car. Yeah, the key. This car right here belongs to the chick in the red hat. She said she was all on her phone. Yeah, she said she was all on her phone. She didn't pay attention if anybody let the thing up and lock the car, or if anybody was even put the keys in. The car had the keys to their car.
You call back?
car maker comes back to a lady. I think they said born in like 67. Yeah. So, nobody claims the car. We're gonna go do the warrant. Dog done hit on it. I'll be back in like 30 or 40 minutes. All right, cool. Yeah. We got weed. It was on the ground right here next to where Red Hat was sitting there. Yeah, so I'll be right back.
Really hype over weed.
And just looking at a few portions of that video, it started, it ended at 29:44 for the record. Now the white Solera that we see in the video, did you see a portion of that white Solera in the IG video?
Yes. Or what I believe to be the white Solera.
Okay. And moving to timestamp 1724 in the video. What are we observing at 1724 in the video?
From what I was watching, we was observing the point where the dog started nibbling at the door handle and began, scratching on the door.
Directed the dog over there.
And is that the K9 in the where the white flashlight is?
Yes.
Okay. Now, when you're listening to the body cam, there appears to be someone very loud in the background. Do you know if the person was speaking to police officer, law enforcement, or something else?
I think that person was just talking randomly, but I'm not sure.
Okay. All right. Now I'm going to show you the next video. And while this is playing, where did you have to go to do the paperwork?
I can't remember where I swore to one. The closest precinct would have been probably the Zone 3 precinct, which I was in, and where we come from, headquarters.
And when you say I had to go fill out the paperwork, what was the paperwork you're referring to?
The search warrant that's in my hand in the video.
Okay.
Just look, he just really searching.
Oh, it doesn't smell like one spray. Yeah, you got a little bit of weed right here. That's where it was. Got everything for intent right here. You probably saw we caught the tail end of it. Yeah, it's weed in there. It ain't that much. Probably like 12 grams or some shit. Yeah, I did. I gotta go. Yeah, we got it's shake all in there. I gotta go back through it one more time. The gun right here under this seat. It's right here. It's under this seat. Yeah. You got some gloves on you, Hornet? I have Daniels come get this one. When you get a chance, grab this one. There's one under this seat too.
Oh, I got it.
Oh, never mind.
I was wondering, I was like, you want gloves to put on your hands? Because I don't think they're going to fit your hands.
You gotta go on the back side. It's deep underneath.
It's for more than man. It's like a lot was going on, man. A lot was going on, man. Let me know in the comment section what y'all think, man. I'm out.
Potentially making this a different game, but a really rough third quarter. And the Celtics kind of led to everything we saw at the end.